Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto turned into a devil. Highschool DxD Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content, and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. What the fuck? Where am I? Naruto is so lost right now. He remembered that he was at Shiraku Ramen having ramen, and while eating he get blinded by some kind of light, and the next he knew he is a place cover, in nothing but white. While looking around he notices that is not the only one here. It seems that the entire Rookie 12 and their instructors, that are still alive, and Tsunade here with him. What surprised all of them are that Kurama is somehow of his seal and the rest of the tailed beasts are here as well. Kurama! How are you out of the seal? What's going on? Where are we? Said the unpredictable ninja. Calm down, Naruto. If we are not getting attacked at this minute, and you are not dying with me being out of the seal, then someone very powerful brought us here for a reason, said the Nine Tails. You are quite correct, Kurama. I am not surprised you figure it out so soon. It's probably due to the fact you are the craftiest tailed beast out of the nine. Everyone turns around to see who the person or thing that's spoken to them from behind. They were confused on the person they are seeing. This person stood about 6 feet and 2 inches wearing a black t-shirt with a cross and wings that were surrounding it and a pair of shorts. The person itself could not be seen, or more accurately look like a shadow of the person they are seeing. The only distinct features they can see besides the clothes are that it is a male with brown hair and glasses. Seeing no one take the initiative, Tsunade decided to speak to the shadow. Hello, I am the 5th Hokage Tsunade Senju. Please state your reasons for bringing us here wherever this here is. It is nice to meet you, my lady. I can't really give you my name, but you can go by my alias Anime Collector, said Shadow, now named Anime Collector. What kind of parents gave such a weird name like that? That is not my name, that's my alias. Pay more attention to details next time, Kiba. This shocked everyone that this man knows Kiba's name, and that puts them on guard thinking if he is a threat. How did you know his name? Asked the ninja with silver hair. Relax, I know everyone's name here and I did not bring you here to fight. If I did, well, I would not be surviving after this, said Anime Collector. Seeing as he is being truthful of his statement, they all relaxed. After that, a girl with long violet hair who's quite shy asked the question that has been on everyone's mind since Anime Collector's appearance. Excuse me, Anime Collector, said Shy Violet. Yes, Hinata, what is it? Said Anime Collector. Can you tell us why you brought us here, please? Said Hinata shyly. Of course, I am happy to be able to answer that, said Anime Collector. Out of thin air a big TV and a bunch of couches appeared and a table with a giant book on top of it. The reason I brought you here is to read this story that I put on that table just now. Q face fall on everyone but Anime Collector, with Ano recovering first, and with a deadpan look on her face looking at Anime Collector. Really, a story, that's it? Said Ino. Take a look at the title of the story, Ino. You will know why in a minuet, said Anime Collector. Ino walked towards the table and picks up the book, and seeing the title, thinking nothing could surprise her about the title. She was proven wrong when she saw the title called Naruto Chimera Effect. Naruto Chimera Effect, what the hell kind of story is this? Yelled the Gossip Queen. This caused everyone to be curious of this story if it has to do with Naruto. Simple, the story is about Naruto, or more like a different Naruto from an alternate dimension that connects to yours. They are all theories to most, since they don't know that those theories are truth, and they exist. In this dimension, Churka is not the only energy that exists in that world, and there are other supernatural beings living there, including gods and goddesses, said AC, and short for Anime Collector both will be stated from time to time. This caught everyone by surprise, that not only that there is another yet different Naruto that exists, but also alternate dimension besides their own. Due to that sudden revelation on them, it made everyone interested about this story, but they were confused about the big TV being here, which AC brings their attention to him. I see all of you are confused about the TV. Well, you are going to see the people and things that will happen in the story and some of the battles. So in other words, you will get the visual that comes with the story. Now everyone really wanted to read this story and see how this dimension compares to theirs, including about Naruto. Now they need to know who is going to read the first chapter. AC solves their dilemma real quick. Since Ino has the book in her hands, she will be reading the first chapter, said AC. Everyone agreed, and soon enough everyone finds a seat to get comfortable. Ino was about to open the book to read the first chapter when Anime Collector stopped her. This action confused everyone on why he did that. Before you start reading, I want to bring a few more people here for you guys. Anime Collector claps his hands twice and a flash of light blinds the group. Once their eyes adjusted, they were shocked. What brought their shocked, wide, and tears flowing down on their face type of eyes? Well, in front of them they see Asuma, Itachi, Fugaku, Mikoto, Minato, Kushina, Inoichi, Niji, Jiraiya, Hagoromo, Shikaku, Hiruzen, Obito, Rin, Nagato, and Konan with smiles on their face, and some with tears running down as well. Everyone ran to them, giving them a huge, and some getting beat up for being an idiot on what, mostly Jiraiya, Obito, and Asuma, they did, and then giving them a huge afterwards. Once everyone calmed down, and went back to their seats, they asked Anime Collector on how is this possible. In this realm the boundaries between the dead and the living do not exist. I thought this would be nice for you guys to be together with friends and family one more time, or first time for some. But once you are done with this story you have say your goodbyes before I return you guys back to your realm. AC informs. Everyone agreed to that and thanked him for this opportunity. Finally everyone is sitting with who they want to be with, and Ino opens the book to read the first chapter. Break, Chapter 1, Rough Start. Oh, I don't like the sound of this, said Naruto. Wah! The sound of two little cries could be heard as they took their first breaths of air. The cries came from two baby girls. One had gold hair with red eyes and the other had red hair with dark violet eyes. Both babies had whisker marks on their cheeks and oval pupils in their eyes, though the exoticness didn't stop there, as both girls sported a foxtail and ears to match their tails. The TV turns on, showing the two baby girls, causing the woman to coo at the babies and making the man sweat drop at their reaction, but inwardly had to admit that they are cute. Now you might think this was out of place if not for who was holding them. A beautiful young woman with red hair and violet eyes held the two as she laid propped up on the bed. She went by the name Kushina, and she was a kitsune sporting 9 red tails. She held her babies protectively as their cries died down, calmed by their mother's warmth. Kushina nods her head. A child will always know their mother is near, and I look better than you, fuzzball. This caused everyone, including the other tailed beast, to laugh at Kurama, while said Fox glares at his brothers and sisters before huffing and turns his head around and mopes. The sage just shakes his head with small smile, happy that his other children are acting like a family, like they should be. Once everyone calms down, Ino continues to read where she left off. Her weak voice echoed out from her faint smile as she spoke to the only other body in the room. Naruto-chan, look at your new baby sisters. Their names are Miso-tan to the blonde daughter, and Shio-tan to the red one. I want you to be a good Onii-chan for them, a watch over them, protect them when I'm gone. Oh no, even I die here too, said Kushina, causing most of the members start to cry, knowing that Naruto losing his mother again, but all wonders where the kid's father was and later assumes he died before Naruto's birth. The receiver of these words was another baby of around 9 months old, who held himself up in a pin nearby, barely able to stand. He had whisker marks like his sisters and oval pupils, but other than that looked completely human, as his shock blonde hair came in down to partially cover his deep blue eyes. His name was Naruto, and he looked on in innocent curiosity at his 2 new siblings. You would think that such words would be lost on a child so young, but she felt that they reached him somehow. The TV turns on again to show what Naruto looks like, and much to Naruto's embarrassment, and the man's pity to him, the woman starts saying how cute looking he is. Are you getting embarrassed, dope? Said Sasuke. Shut up, team! Yelled Naruto. Naruto, Sasuke. Both boys turned towards who mentioned them and wish they didn't, because right now they are seeing their mother with sweet smiles with their eyes closed. It wouldn't be bad if it wasn't for the dark aura surrounding behind them, with Kushina moving that looks like Nine-Tail, and Mikoto having a scary Azura mask peeking behind her head. You are not just starting a fight with Sasuke, are you, Naruto? Questioned Kushina. Sasuke are causing trouble again with Naruto? Questioned Mikoto. Naruto and Sasuke did the smartest thing together for the first time. They wrap an arm on each other's shoulder, looking at their mother, nervously smiling at them with sweat running down their body. Of course not. Naruto and I are best buds, right, Naruto? I, Minato, Fugaku, and Itachi could only shake their head at their son/little brother and causing their mother's wrath. Ino just rolls her eyes. Boys, and continues reading the chapter. Don't worry about being different from your sisters or not being good enough, Naruto-chan. You are strong, stronger than I may ever know, and don't let anyone tell you different. I wish at least your father, if not me, would have lived long enough to see you all grow up, but it doesn't look like that will happen. Just know that I love each of you equally and more than anything else in the world. Remember that, my babies. After a few more words she went silent, content with holding her newborns, as Naruto just watched with his curious gaze, as if he was aware of what was going on. Had to think this brat is smarter than our brat here by the looks of it. Laughed Jiraiya, while Naruto got angry at the comment his godfather said. Hey, at least I'm some pathetic perv like you, pervy sage, yelled Naruto, which caused Jiraiya to frown. Demi brat, when are you going to stop calling me that? Said Jiraiya. I'll stop calling that when you stop being such a pervert, pervy sage, said Naruto. Like that will happen, said Tsunade Heim. Jiraiya sulked. When she finished, another person entered the room quietly to check in on her. It was a beautiful kitsune woman with golden hair and 9 tails and had the appearance of someone in their late teens. "Nae-sama, don't you think your hopes are too high for him? From what I can see, he is probably a normal human, maybe a little above average, but otherwise a runt dash." She was silenced at that last word by a flooding of a dark killing intent that made her freeze up in panic as Kushina's eyes slitted and locked with hers. And just like that it was gone as she went back to gently smiling at her children, making the girl take a deep breath. "Yeah, you don't diss my kids and get away with it!" exclaimed Kushina. The whole Rookie 12 just sweat drop at the attitude from the fourth's wife. "At least now we know where Naruto's personality comes from. Yasaka-chan, you would do well to not call my Sochi a runt in my presence. Believe me when I say that looks can be deceiving. With us being foxes, you should have learned that lesson by now. Need I remind you about Minato-kun? Look underneath the underneath," nodded Kakashi. Everyone else nodded in agreement to his words. The now named Yasaka regained her bearings as the pressure eased up. She forgot how dangerous her sister could be. Even in her weakened state, her anger wasn't something to mess with. Naruto gained her pity, if nothing else, if it turned out that his sisters inherited even a fraction of her full temper. Even Kushina's mom is scary. Shivered Naruto and Minato. "Hi Wani-sama, fair enough." "Good," Kushina responded, not taking her eyes off her 2 girls. "Now would you be a dear and bring Naruto-chan over here for me?" Having no reason to disagree, she picked up Naruto from his pen, the baby not uttering a signal sound of distaste. Looking at the baby, Yasaka couldn't help but gain a small smile. The kid is cute though. At least he has that to his advantage. She went over and handed Naruto to Kushina, who took him in one arm while she held his daughters in the other. Oh boy, if the kid has Minato's looks, then all the girls will be crushing on him. "Naruto, you lucky dog, you!" cried Jiraiya. This caused him a one-way trip to dreamland from an Tsunade and Kushina with their fist in the air. "Oh, don't worry, Yasaka-chan, I have a feeling that he will have more than just his looks as an advantage. And to answer your question, it's only natural for a parent to have high hopes and expectations for their children. It's part of the job because any decent parent wants the best for their offspring. Maybe one day when you have a kid of your own you will understand." Yasaka looked slightly bashful as a small blush dusted her face at the thought. Kushina stroked Naruto's hair with one hand as he watched his sleepy sisters, causing her to smile. "She's right, you know." The Rookie 12 looked at Anime Collector with a question mark on there. Kushina from that story is right. All parents want what is best for their child, and any good parent will be proud of their child no matter what they do in life. All the adults nods their head, glad they are not the only one that thinks like that about good parenting. But whatever he does, I will be able to rest in peace knowing he's happy. I guess I can understand that a little. What I can't understand is why all their names are related to ramen. Yasaka's eyebrow twitched at that. Kushina just giggled softly without a care. What's there to understand? I love ramen and I love my babies. All except Kushina and Anime Collector sweat drop at the answer to that. Yes, I know. Everyone in the clan knows about your love for ramen, but could you have named them something different? Having all the kids named after the same kind of thing kinda sends a weird message, like that one show popular with humans about these superpower monkey people who were all named after vegetables. You always did like your anime. That's not my point dash. I think that is the point for you. The tailed beasts said together, causing everyone to laugh. I'm not changing their names, Yasaka-chan. Naruto, Shio, and Miso are the names related to delicious ramen and are the names of my delicious children. Kushina hummed to herself happily. Yasaka just sweat dropped at that. Delicious children? Even Kushina sweat drop at that. I am not like that, Kushina said, causing everyone to look at her like she has a second head. Kushina noticed the looks and sulks to a random, and drawing circles on the floor. Sweat drop. Ino, can you please continue the story? AC said. Ino continues to read before any more random stuff happens. Her eyes went alert when she saw blood drip down from the corner of Kushina's mouth. Onisama. Shush, it's okay, I know I only have a few days left at the most. She gave a sad smile to her sister, knowing her time with her and her children was short. Are you sure nothing could be done to help you, Nae-sama? Believe me, Yasaka-chan, if I knew of any way to stay with my children and watch them grow up just a little long, I would take that in a heartbeat. But I can trust you to do that for me, can I, Yasaka-chan? You will take care of your nieces and nephew, won't you? Of course she will, said Hinata while Naruto is holding on to her, causing everyone to smile seeing Naruto and Hinata finally getting in Kushina to at the cute couple after getting through her episode and rejoining with everyone. The Golden Vixen gave her sister a reassuring smile. Hi, Nae-sama. Shio, Miso, even Naruto. They will be taken care of. Kushina gave her a grateful smile, knowing that she wouldn't have to worry. Sure, Kushina's and Yasaka's ears pricked at the small voice before looking down at the cause of it. Naruto was reaching out for his sleeping sisters with his small pudgy hand, all the while uttering "Shimi" over and over. Kushina's eyes widened and watered at what she was hearing. Shio miso. Kushina held her children tightly to her as she cried in happiness. Her son's first words. She lived long enough to at least hear them, and they were of him trying to say his new sisters' names. It was as if it was Naruto's goal to reassure his mother as well, because when Naruto said that, it was like Kushina had a weight lifted off her heart that she didn't know she had. Kushina cried as she held them to her face, kissing them repeatedly. Everyone was starting to have tears falling out of the eyes seeing this happy yet sad moment. Sniff, Ka-san has nothing to worry about, does she, Naru-chan? Because you will protect your sisters for her, won't you? She smiled into her children as the tears continued to fall. If she didn't know better, she could have sworn she heard a muffled "hi" from Naruto as if he was answering her. Yasaka looked on with a smile of her own. Yes, Wani-sama, I don't think you have anything to worry about at all. Though her smile became somber, as those that streamed down Kushina's face became those of blood. Kushina did not live longer than 2 more days, sadly, and so died in the cabin the children lived in the woods. Everyone bowed their heads to pay their respects of the deceased, and Kushina crying while whispering "not fair" over and over again, while Minato and Naruto hugs her to help calm her down. Everyone, including the tailed beast, and the sage, knew it was hard for her to suffer not seeing her children anymore and help raise them. Years later, we enter our first jump skip, everyone, said AC. Wait, there is going to be more of these, barked Kiba, from time to time, but not as big as this one, and I think one more after this. Troublesome, said Smart Lazy Bones. Said our resident duck butthead. If there was one thing to be stated, it would be how fast the sisters grew. While their physical growth was normal, and so a little smaller than Naruto, they were standing by the time he was walking, and running by the time he could. In fact, Naruto had trouble keeping up with them. He had lots of energy, but they seemed to surpass him in even that. The sisters weren't blind to this. In fact, they knew he was weaker, that he was different. His lack of fox features made it obvious regardless of the difference in physical ability, but they didn't have that to really go on, as Yasaka had sealed their features early on. They knew it, but Yasaka kept it a secret from Naruto, trying to give him some semblance of a normal human life as long as possible. But they didn't shun him for his weakness. No, they were good sisters and didn't think much of it. Well, that's good that they are good sisters, said Mikoto. Fugaku felt ashamed for what he has done in life with his children, and wished that he was a better Mikoto. Itachi and Sasuke saw their Fugaku expression, and want to give him, making him feel better, and everyone were glad that he has loving wife and sons. Naruto shrugged it off as well. Deep down he hated his inferiority. He didn't know why they were so much better than him, but he enjoyed the time with his sisters even more, and so ignored it. Even if he wasn't stronger, he would still be there as their older brother. Hey Sasuke, did you felt like that with Itachi? Asked Naruto. Sasuke nodded and Naruto said no more. Both Sasuke and Naruto did not notice the frown on Itachi, but no, there was nothing he could do to change anything. They were now at the ages of 5 with Naruto almost 6, and were playing in the woods. Yasaka had some business to take care of in getting them to change location, and so would be gone for a while. She left every now and then for short periods of time in the past year, so it was nothing new to them. They were surprisingly smart, and well-off kids, so they could take care of themselves better than you would think at that age. Though the Kitsune woman warned them not to stray off too far from the cabin, and she put a seal on the area to prevent them from doing so for good measure. With her skills, she was confident nothing would happen. She would be humbled that day. Oni-chan, hurry up. The cherry voice of Miso could be heard as she ran in the woods. Yeah, you're too slow. The near-identical voice of Shio could be heard as well as she ran alongside her twin. Hey, that's not nice to say to your older brother, Kushina exclaimed. Kushina, you know they can't hear you. Minato's sweat drop. I know, but that doesn't mean I'll keep silent though, said Kushina. Both shouts were directed at Naruto, who was lagging behind them some ways, struggling to keep up. He was fast for his age, but only by human standards. He panted as he struggled to keep up with them, trying to get them to stop. Come on guys, you're going too far, we need to go back. His pleas went on deaf ears as they kept going. They all wore similar clothes of blue shorts and shirts, as they didn't much when they basically grew up in the woods. The girls made it to a running river and stopped as they waited for their brother to catch up. Moments later he caught up and bent over to take deep breaths. Keeping up with those girls was exhausting. And now you know how we felt when dealing with you, Naruto, said Kakashi. Sasuke and Sakura nod their heads, knowing that Naruto had a lot of energy, and still do to this day. All Naruto did was blush and nervously scratch his cheek. Can we go back now? We're going too far from the cabin. Calm your panties, Oni-chan, came the snarky response from Shio, causing Naruto's eyebrow to twitch. Naruto's eyebrows twitch while the rookie 12 laughed or giggled at Naruto's misfortune. One last thing please, Oni-chan? The ever-sweeter of the twins, Miso asked him. As usual he gave in, though mainly just because he wanted to make them happy. The poor bastard thought from the males. Fine, one last thing then, we are going home now, hurry up and pick something. The girls looked around then at each other, and knew what they wanted. They spoke in their decision in unison while pointing at the tree that had fallen over the river. We want to cross the water. What? No, it's too dangerous. Well, you can wait, Oni-chan, if you can't do it. He twitched at that. Whether he had just been baited or not didn't matter. He wasn't about to let his sisters do that alone. Fine. At that word the girls ran to the fallen trunk to cross it before he could tell them to wait. Why do I have a feeling something unyouthful is going to happen? Said Lee, with Guy agreeing. Everyone groaned, hoping to not deal with those two's antics. Kids, where are you? Your Oba-san is here. Yasaka arrived with her fox features hidden at the cabin and looked around worriedly. Where are they? She sniffed the air and found their scents faint and drifting, meaning they had gone out quite a ways, and with the fact that it was getting dark only made it worse. She took off into the woods as fast as she could to try and find the kids, as she had a bad feeling. Now everyone was getting worried hearing that. Come on, Oni-chan, you can do it. The girls cheered Naruto on as he grumbled. They were already at the end, balancing as they walked on the trunk, while Naruto was not even halfway across as he struggled to crawl on it, trying not to slip off into the river. The girls jumped off as they made it to the other side and danced around as they waited for Naruto. Oni-chan, if you want we can come back and help you across. Shut up, Shio. He would not pitted or patronized, not that he knew what the second word even meant. He continued to inch across trunk with his eyes closed so that he wouldn't look down. Grr. Naruto's eyes snapped open when he heard the girls scream. Shooting his gaze towards them, his eyes widened in fear as he saw a large bear growling at his sisters. Oh no! Exclaimed all the mothers in the group, with their hand covering their mouths, and their husbands doing everything they can to calm them down. The girls were huddled in front of a tree and were too afraid to move as the bear growled at them only a few feet away. They whimpered as it got closer. The bear stood up and roared. They had entered its territory. Leave them alone! The girls looked up and saw Naruto in front of them, shielding them from the large animal. They didn't even have time to think about how he crossed the river and got over here so fast. Stay away from my sisters! His eyes were locked hard with the bear and had enough force to cause the animal to freeze up. It couldn't break its gaze with Naruto's as his eyes glared through his hair. It was like some force of some kind was present. All Naruto could think of was protecting his sisters. Itachi nodded to this, know that this Naruto is no different to the Naruto he knows. But he kept wondering what anime collector meant when this Naruto is different to theirs. Kids! Naruto turned to see Yasaka running out the woods on the opposite of the lake, looking at them in fear for their safety. Oba-san! Mistakes were made. Naruto shouldn't have taken his eyes off the bear as Yasaka's shout startled it and made it swing. Slash! Gasp! Naruto was knocked unconscious into a tree as the bear's claws ripped through his chest, drawing a lot of blood. Kushina was now hyperventilating and crying at the same time, and Naruto and Minato was doing everything they can to calm her down, but nothing seems to work. Everyone else was very worried about Naruto except for Anime Collector, but played it off as already knowing the story. Naruto! Yasaka screamed out as her nephew was knocked through the air. The sisters could only watch in fear as their brother was hurt, only able to cry. Yasaka's eyes went red with rage as her kitsune features became present, and crossed the river in a second to grab the girls out of harm's way before crossing back over to leave the girls on the other side where they would be safe in another second. Before she could turn around to go back across the water and kill that creature, she heard a sickening crack. CRRRCCCKKKK. She turned to the source and her rage-filled eyes were replaced with shock. Kushina finally calmed down, but still a little shaken from what they just witnessed, but now everyone was wondering what shocked Yasaka. She was greeted to the sight of Naruto sitting on top of the bear's shoulders with the animal's head twisted all the way back. It was as if something overcame Naruto as one eye shone through the shadows of his messy hair glowing white. Ignoring his eyes, his faces had gone expressionless, with his more slightly agape showing longer than normal canines. One of the spikes of blonde hair on the top right of his head turned black as well. Off in the distance she heard several wolves howl as Naruto had the sunset in his backdrop. She only took her eyes off of the bear and Naruto for a few seconds. How was Naruto able to cover the distance and do all that in that time? The TV turns on showing just what happened, causing everyone to shiver at Naruto's appearance, more so from Kiba, but does not know why. A few seconds later the bear fell forward with a thump, dead. A second later Naruto fell forward off of him unconscious as blood continued to spill from his chest. Yasaka came to her senses and rushed to retrieve Naruto. She couldn't help but think to herself while heading back to the cabin about what Naruto did. You're not as normal as I thought you were, are you, Naruto-kun? If the group looked at the tailed beast right now, they would see a look of interest. The only one to notice that was the sage, but stayed silent because he more likely wanted to know what happens next. After that day, while the kids could not remember what happened, several things changed. The girls became more protective and responsive to Naruto, while Naruto became more confident and someone who needed to be protected less. It's the small things that make a huge change in us, said Kakashi, making everyone agree since it's true. True, but what do you become from the change? That is something that you need to keep in mind, said Anime Collector. Shio-chan? Miso-chan? The girls snapped out of their thoughts that they had drifted off to during their lunch break. They often ate lunch together at their desks and did a lot together, which wasn't uncommon for twins. They turned towards who called them. She was a stunning buxom redhead. She had blue-green eyes and a hair antennae on top of her head. This was Rias Gremory, the one regarded as one of the top beauties at Ko Academy. The TV turns on again, showing the redhead causing some of the male to blush while Jiraiya passed out via nosebleed again. Pervert, stated Tsunade. Wait, did it just do another time skip? Asked Sakura. Yes, they did, and Naruto, is that a blush I see? Said Anime Collector with a smirk. Everyone looked at Naruto, and they indeed see Naruto was blushing, and it became more noticeable with everyone looking at him. Most of group was smirking at him, while some of them were shaking their head at him while containing their laughter, and only Hinata had a look of jealousy on her face seeing this. And no, I'm not blushing, stated Naruto. Yes you are, I can see it on your face. 3, said Anime Collector, teasing. Fuck you, team, exclaimed Naruto. Sorry, but I don't swing that way, said Anime Collector. Arg. Everyone started laughing due to seeing Naruto so flustered being teased for the first time. Once everyone finally calmed down, Ino continues to read. Shio spoke up for the two, having a feeling they were having the same dream. Sorry Riaspucho, I guess we just got distracted. She rubbed her head in embarrassment. Both girls had become beauties in their own right. At age 16 their figures were comparable to Rias, if not slightly smaller in the chest department, but evened it out with their bodies looking more toned and agile, showing that they were athletic. Both girls' hair, Shio's red and Miso's gold blonde, had grown silky and long down their backs and were held together in ponytails that seemed to flare out in a way that resembled a tail almost. They still had the whisker marks on their light tan skin, which made them look more adorable and exotic to the school's population. If Rias and Akino were known as the two great Onisamas and Kaneko was the mascot of the school, then the twins were the vixens of the academy. When the TV turned on again, Jiraiya giggled perversely until being knocked out by Tsunade before he could write down notes for his next issue. Some of the men had to turn away in order to not receive the wrath from the women in the group. The women, yeah, they got jealous. Whistle, damn Naruto, your sisters are hot, man, said Kiba. Dude, that's my sisters you're perving on, exclaimed Naruto. Shrugs, yeah, so what, said Kiba. Stay away from my sisters, yelled Naruto. Ah, is my little Naruto being protective of his little sisters? How cute. Cooed Kushina. Wailed Naruto, while AC was laughing at Naruto at the background, including with everyone else except for the Nara duos. Troublesome, signed Shikamaru. Agreed, my son, signed Shikako. Ino just rolled her eyes at the Naros while getting everyone's attention before continuing. Rias gave them a smile. It's very much alright, just making sure you two are okay. The bell rang shortly after, and they all got ready for class. Before Rias could return to her seat, the twins stopped her with really bright foxy grins on their faces. Something got them in a good mood, said Fugaku. It maybe has to do with something with Naruto here, Fugaku, said Minato with smirk at his best friend. Fugaku smirked back but said nothing else. Hey Riaspucho, did we ever tell you that our Oni-chan will be transferring to this school next week? Okay, that's it for this chapter, so wants to read next? Asked Ino. If you don't mind, I like read next about my little Naruto, said Kushina. Ino gives Kushina the book so they can hear what happens in the next chapter. Part 1? Questioned Itachi. What it means that a lot of stuff will not be covered in one chapter, and it will be covered in multiple segments per chapters, said AC. So this mysterious brother of yours is finally coming to our academy? Rias asked while sitting in her armchair. Shio and Miso sat across from her on a couch as they spoke. Miso chose to answer the questions for them. Hi, Oni-chan had been traveling the world for the past few years since he was 11 years old, so we only saw him on occasions since then. Since while skilled he was still a human, Obasan felt that he would be better protected as well as enjoy life more if he got to see the world. So she sent members of our clans on Bugard to watch over him and teach him. It's harder to keep track of humans than it is almost any other race of beings after all. That is a wise decision they made. Why? Because it would have been dangerous for him living knowing about the supernatural, and be a lot more safe by being ignorant and traveling where they know that he is safe. Said Shino, but that still does not make it fair that he couldn't spend time with the only two people he has left as family. To me, family is important and family should stick together regardless if they are human or not. Said Naruto. Minato, Kushina and Jiraiya could not help but smile knowing Naruto would be a good father in the future. Rias nodded in thought. The Umbugards of her clan, if she remembered right from what Shio told her in the past, were a group of select human magicians and shinobi who acted as the Kitsune clan's human eyes and ears across the world when the foxes weren't already involved themselves. The situation still sounded strange to her, but she supposed there must have been a good enough reason for the older sibling to go off traveling the world. And even if there wasn't, her interest had certainly been piqued to see the secret brother of two of her friends. They had first met years ago, when they were around 12 years old. Hey, even in that dimension you still get the ladies, huh, Naruto? Said Jiraiya with a pervy smile on his face. Huh, what do you mean by that, pervy sage? Questioned Naruto. How can Naruto be so stupid yet smart, and be dense at the same time? Questioned Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi. Was I that dense when I was younger? Said Minato with a sweat drop on his head. Apparently her brother had a meeting with the head of the Yukai faction, Yasaka. They had been able to create a local truce centered around the girls with the conditions that the twins would be under the Gremory's protection while they attended the academy. Yasaka had other duties to take care of after all, as well as a young daughter of her own to take care of now. Knowing the political and social status of the girls, Surzex knew how serious to take this. Of course the level of protection was lax now since the girls were a lot more able, and at the level they were at now, if any stray supernatural beings did come into the area who were stronger than them, they would be sensed by all of them. These conditions were met, but Yasaka made it especially clear that they were to not be a part of a peerage. She did not want to just send her nieces of as anyone's servants. What did that story mean by that? Questioned Obito. In simple terms, a war happened with the devils, angels, and fallen angels. It lasted a very long time, and when it ended, they were close to extinction. In order for them to repopulate, the devils create a peerage system that was used to turn anyone to reincarnated devil as their servants. But many of the devils abused the system, and a devil ranking was formed from low class to ultimate class. Reincarnated devils were considered low-level class, and experienced reincarnated devils are mid-class. High-class devil mostly consisted of nobles or devils with noble blood in them, and few of the reincarnated devils. Finally you have the ultimate class devils, which are what I consider the top of the food chain in devil society. Unfortunately, most of the so-called noble high-class devils treat the reincarnated devils as low-class filth or trash even after they later become high-class devils. Only a few high-class noble families treat their servants with the proper respect like the Gremorys. Said AC. This really angered everyone in the room, especially the tailed beasts, reminding them of their past treatment in being put in human containers, but they also understood the importance of the survival of their race. Everyone took a few minutes to calm down, but once they were relaxed, Kushina returns her focus on the book and continues reading. Though the Gremory family treated their peerage like family, that wasn't the point. At first the relationship between the girls was awkward, as Rias didn't have many friends and had never met a kitsune, and the twins were cautious about without their brother for multiple reasons. Though eventually they warmed to each other and became fast friends. Everyone smiled at the bonds their friendship formed and also gave respect to the Gremory family for treating their servants as part of the family. More so with Kushina thinking how close in resemblance to her fallen clan. I like the Gremory clan already, said Kushina. That's why I have more respect for the Gremory clan than any other devil clan, said AC. So this brother of yours is normal? Rias rose an eyebrow at this, somewhat disappointed though confused. It was very unlikely for a normal human to be born from supernatural beings. Even with one of the parents being human, with Yukai especially, it was near impossible. Is that true, Anime Collector? Said Sasuke. Yes, the probability of that happening is 0.1% chance of being born human from a yokai parent, and it's a 50-50th being born as half-breed or full-breed from one yokai parent, said AC. But how is that possible, that Naruto being born as human? Questioned Kurenai. If this Naruto is anything like our Naruto, then he is most likely be unpredictable. Troublesome, said Shikamaru. Would not have surprised me if that is the case, said Sasuke. Me neither, said Choji. Same here, said Kiba. Ditto, said Ino and Sakura. Comment, just get on with the story already, yelled Kurama. If she remembered right, they called it the Yukai effect with hybrids. No matter what the yukai child is mixed with that yukai blood, if it isn't potent at first will become so over time multiplying until they can be recognized as pure. That's why most yukai are full blood and why their half-breeds have so much potential compared to hybrids from most other species. And with yukai half-breeds the other blood wasn't just cancelled out. It was like it was kept separate altogether. So while Kitsune had human forms, half-breeds like Shio and Miso's human forms will actually have their DNA read off as 100% human. Not all that important, but it does have some uses. In fact, that was believed to be the main reason why so many Kitsune had human forms was because many of their ancestors had been half-breeds at some point. That actually explains a lot about them. Said Asuma. It was kinda unfair to the evolution balance to Rias, as that meant it was very hard for yukai blood to become completely diluted, which means their population could always recover. Though the fact that most kept inside their species it evened things out. But that meant that how this mystery sibling was human was an even bigger mystery to her. Something had to have been missed. Maybe the twins just didn't know about it. I can't help but agree that something is missing here, but what? Said Mikoto. We might know if we continue with the story. The mystery will reveal itself in time. Said Nagato. Shio coughed into his hand. I wouldn't say he's normal, just not like us. Rias was confused at this. What do you mean? Said Guy. What do you mean? Everyone could not hold their laughter seeing Guy look constipated and seeing that his question being repeated. Even the tailed beasts were laughing the expression Guy was making. Once everyone was no longer having the giggle fits, they refocus on the story. Well, while he wasn't born the same as we were, he has grown to excel at just about everything. But that's our Oni-chan. You could say it makes up for things. Interesting, but she was sure they were exaggerating some for their sibling. Nope, that's where you are wrong, Rias. Said Naruto with a smirk on his face. The rookie 12 and their senseis shook their heads, and knowing that would be the first and last mistake you make in underestimating Naruto, even one from a different dimension. Hey, what is the deal with these black lines that show up from time to time? Questioned Hinata. They're supposed to be page breaks and letting you know that story is going to focus on somewhere else so you don't get confused. Said AC. Monday morning. Oh, so it does. Said Tsunade. Miso and Shio could be seen in their desks next to the window chewing on their pencils in nervous anticipation. The bell rang for class signaling its start, and everyone got in their seats. Rias whispered to Shio from behind her. Wasn't your brother supposed to be arriving? Oh, someone is pulling a Kakashi here. Said Sasuke. Everyone was laughing or snickering at the point besides said man himself, with a blank look on his face and wondering how that it is funny before everyone refocused on the story. Shio whispered back to her. I don't know, he is supposedly running late. He was supposed to come home over the weekend so they could spend time together, but he got delayed for whatever reason. They didn't hear much from their aunt, only that she had gone to get him from the airport this morning, so he might not even show up till tomorrow. 20 minutes later there was a knock on the door. The teacher went to the door, and after a minute returned with a tall blonde male. The twins instantly perked up as they were able to recognize him instantly, but then sweat dropped afterwards. My prank senses are tingling, said Kushina with a creepy smile shown on her face. All the adults in Karama were shivering, knowing the pranking she-devil was always spot on when a prank is pulled or when her pranks are pulled in the past. Let me tell you, it's not pretty. The rookie 12 paled, knowing that Naruto got his prank habit from his mother. They paled even further and huddled together, with the adults included seeing the same smile shown on Naruto, and prying to Kami, hopping that those two do not work together ever, in this life or the next. Unfortunately their prayer did not reach to the said goddess herself. Per unlucky group you guys are, thought AC. The boy stood at around 6 feet tall, and had messy downward spikes of blonde hair that went down over his eyes. He had two black spikes of hair on top of his head that fell down sideways while the rest of his hair went down. On the lower half of his face that was visible you could make out whisker marks and a stupid smile. He wore the standard guy's blazer and dress shirt that was standard to the school open, exposing a purple shirt and an out-of-place orange tie that made Shio's brow twitch. It was out of place, and she was pretty sure he knew this too and did it on purpose. Though the twins had to admit he grew up well. The TV turned on in showing Naruto's appearance, and everyone admit he looked good, especially Ino. Okay class, it looks like our expected new student has finally arrived. Young man, could you please introduce yourself to the class? The blonde stood straight to the class and spoke in a not all their voice. Why do I have a feeling this is going to turn out as a prank? Said Sasuke, who was now looking at Naruto as said blonde is looking away while whistling. Ohio everyone. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, and I am an artist. He swung his arms out spread eagle at the last word for emphasis, and held it there until the teacher spoke up. Shio and Miso felt like burying themselves in their desks from embarrassment. Well, that answers my question, said Sasuke. Shio facepalm at the idea. So he's an artist now? What happened to rocket scientists years ago? Miso was having thoughts of her own. I thought he wanted to be a famous ramen chef. Comment, really, why am I not surprised by that last one? Said Kurama. You know that does not sound like a bad idea. I should try in becoming a famous ramen chef and Hokage at the same time. Said Naruto. Do that and I'll ban you from eating ramen for a year. No, make it 2 years back at the Leaf Village and all over Fire Country. Yelled Tsunade. Naruto paled and went wide-eyed and looked at Tsunade while pointing at her shakenly. You wouldn't dare, Granny! Yelled Naruto with a much panicked face. All he got in return was an evil smirk on her face telling all he needed to know, that she would not hesitate if he goes through with it. Fine, I will not try to become a famous ramen chef, but I am still going to take that hat from you, Granny Tsunade. Said Naruto. That's fine by me, brat. Said Tsunade. Shio didn't know why, but at that moment she felt the need to deadpan over at her younger twin sister. Everyone except Naruto and Kushina nodded their heads silently at that. The teacher coughed into her hand and read out some of the information she had been given on him. According to this, you are apparently the older sibling to our Miso-san and Shio-san. This got gasp from the class and more of Ria's attention. This also says that by your grades and test scores that you have been given the spot of the number 1 student. Miso and Shio smirked at this and from hearing the murmurs from the class. Rias, however, had her own thoughts. This shocked everyone, including Shikamaru, thinking that this Naruto is smart enough to be on the top of the class. I have to say that is remarkable, but Sona-chan isn't going to like this. Though this boy certainly doesn't look like one who would have that kind of academic level. His grades would have had to basically been perfect for years to have been able to take that spot from her. I can't believe the dope is smart in that dimension. Said Sasuke. Hey, I'm smart. Said Naruto. Yeah, only when it does not have to deal with academics. Other than that, you're hopeless. Said Shikamaru. The rest of the Rookie 12 laughed, while Hinata tried so hard to laugh. Keyword tried. Naruto goes to a corner and sulks while Hinata, after finished laughing, goes to him to try to cheer him up. Kushina coos at the cute couple but focuses back on the story. The class suddenly broke out into chatter. I didn't know the Vixens had a brother? He's kinda cute. The blonde hair makes him look like a punk. His hair color kinda does resemble Miso-chan's. The black onto makes him look kawaii like some kind of animal or dog. Great, now another guy to attract all the attention. He has the kawaii whisker marks like the twins as well. Wow, he's kinda tall. Their brother must be some kind of genius to have grades that good. Where has he been all this time if he's their brother? He's so kawaii, I can see another fan club brewing. He looks like an idiot. I ship Naruto x Kiba-kun. Naruto's sweat dropped with his head down at all the comments. Everyone could not help but sweat drop as well at the reaction from the class. I had me associated with the word kawaii several times and am pretty sure I don't like that last one. All the males, including anime collectors, shivered at that last statement. The teacher coughed into her hand to get the attention back on her. Right, well, Naruto-san, since you will be apparently holding so much status at our academy, and have become a person of interest in such a short period of time, could you maybe tell us a bit more about yourself? Say your likes, dislikes, hobbies, and plans for the future. Everyone said, which caused everyone to laugh at saying the same thing at the same time. Naruto signed to himself. Very well, sensei. The twins, Rias, and a majority of the class caught how it was like his presence was changing. Naruto ran a hand back through his hair, spiking it up, and exposing his deep blue eyes and slitted pupils. At the sight, the girls in the class, and even the teacher, all blushed at his strong, handsome features. Whereas before he looked good with his hair down, now it was like his sex appeal multiplied and his demeanor was a lot more serious. Like some kind of strong individual that demanded obedience and respect wherever he walked. The twins felt a foreign feeling stirring inside them at the change, while the class broke out into chatter again. The TV turns on again, and what they saw caused all the females, Tsunade included, to blush, with Hinata having a full cherry red body blush with steam coming out of ears and then fainted. While that was happening to the woman, excluding Kushina, who was gushing how her boy was such a handsome devil like his father, the man, excluding Minato, who felt manly pride for his son, and Naruto, being smug for the first time, were glaring at the TV. We hate so much right now, said the group of man that was not Minato and Naruto. Hey, I can't help it that I'm sexy and they know it, said Naruto, feeling smug about it. Shut up, dope, said an annoyed Sasuke. My Kami, he's hot. He actually looks like someone with good grades now. Yeah, but not with grades that good. That's still surprising. I think his face just made me pregnant. I wonder if he'll join our club. I have found my idol. Great, now he will take even more of the ladies' attention for himself. I'm already wet. That hair spike move was kinda awesome. He is definitely going to be the dominant in my Naruto fanfiction. Oh my god, you girls are freaking nasty. The males again shivered at the second last commit. What the hell is wrong with those girls? Said Jiraiya. Trust me, pervy sage women are scary. You just don't know it yet, or you are too dense and or stupid to ever knowing it. Said Anime Collector. Damn it, not you too! Whined the hermit pervert. Shio and Miso bit their pencils in half on reflex at some of the things they heard, which Rias noted for later. Oh, is Shio and Miso jealous of girls complimenting their big brother? Cooed Kushina. Oh, you don't know the half it. AC snickered. Everyone looked at Anime Collector questionably on why was snickering. When they asked him why, he just waved his hand telling to keep reading. Obviously whatever is going to happen, they will have to get the answer in the story. Naruto let this go on for a little longer before he heard enough. Silence. It was a strong and firm command that made the class go silent, and give him their undivided attention. He mentally flinched when he was certain he saw some of the girls blushing after the way he said that. Ignoring it, he continued. Everyone raised an eyebrow on this. Naruto was able to make everyone obey him. They noticed that it got quiet all of a sudden and noticed that Kiba was not making a sound. Now that confused them, but they didn't bother in finding what was wrong. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, and I am 17 years old. I am the other sibling of Shio and Miso Uzumaki by 9 months, and I am fluent in 5 different languages. I have been traveling the world and just came back from living in America. I have a photographic memory, and the memory of an elephant. I am great at sports, music, academics, cooking, art, and have yet to find something I do poorly in. The answer to the problem on the board is square root sin, 53.325. I have no real interest in clubs and prefer to be left to my own devices. And if it wasn't clear yet, it will become so very soon that I have no problems showing off when I want to. That is all. You could hear all the jaws dropping from that introduction, and they became mute. It took a good half an hour for everyone to snap out of their trance, and decided to not to comment that, and continued the story. That's all? Oh, okay, Naruto-san, well, that's good. We didn't know we would be getting such a talented and cultured individual. Wait, that answer is right. How did you know the answer when I hadn't even finished putting it on the board, ignoring the fact that you should not have been able to do that complex of a problem that easily? Okay, even I can't do something like that, said Shikamaru. That shocked everyone, including his father. Who knew? I glanced at the open textbook on your desk and was able to figure out what problem you were likely working on. Minato narrowed his eyes, hearing how sharp Naruto's eyes were. He's got some sharp eyes. Fugaku commented with Sasuke and Itachi agree with their father. Oh well, gee, good job, Naruto-san. I hope you enjoy your time here in my class. You may take the set behind Miso-san next to Rias-san. Naruto just nodded as he put his hands in his pockets, and ignored the gazes of the classroom as he walked to the back near the windows where his seat was. As he walked down the row, he locked eyes with Miso and Shio, who were second from the back. The girls froze and didn't know how to react under that kind of dominating gaze from his sharp blue eyes, and subconsciously looked up at him in an almost submissive manner, like they were in trouble for some reason. By now Kiba was whining in submission, shocking everyone, and now they were concerned on what is up Kiba, but he won't say why because he does not know either. Their gaze stayed locked for a few seconds. After a few seconds, Naruto's spiked hair died back down to covering his eyes, and next thing the girls knew, they were pulled out of their desks into a bear hug. The girls were stunned at what was happening as they were shaken as Naruto rubbed his face into their chests, making the guys in the class extremely jealous. This is kind of weird but kind of hot at the same time, said Kiba. Naruto was blushing and Jiraiya was perversely giggling before getting knocked out by Tsunade again, but woke up 5 minutes later. Ah, my sweet little Imutos. I've missed you two so much. Naruto paused with his face still in their chests, and thought for a second. Well, you two aren't that little anymore now, are you? Realizing slowly what he just said, the girls' eyes widened and their faces turned red. Naruto paled. Don't tell me. Oh, please say it is so, exclaimed Jiraiya with a perverted smile. Hold on, let's find out, Kushina said quickly before anyone jumps into conclusions. Pow! Shio took a deep breath to cool her flushed face as after she just punched Naruto's head into the ground. It's nice to see you too, Oni-sama. Miso was too embarrassed and just covered her face with her hands. Rias just watched in amusement, but grew anxious when he directed his attention her. Naruto got off the ground and dusted himself off. He gave Rias a mock bow. Uzumaki Naruto, at your service. Please treat me well. Continue reading before all you jump to conclusions, said AC. Lunchtime. While the students were on their break, Naruto brought his stuff with him to lay against the tree in the grass with his eyes closed. He didn't show any reaction when he heard people approach him. Oni-sama, why didn't you wait for us? Naruto, without opening his eyes, could tell it was Miso's voice. which of course meant that Shio was next to her. Yawns. Well, I guess I could have, but I knew you two would find me anyway. Okay, I'm starting to like this Naruto, said Shikamaru. Why? Because he's being lazy, growled Ino. Troublesome, signed Shikamaru. He heard shuffling before a meek voice. Are you mad at me for hitting you earlier, Oni-sama? This time it was Shio. Though their voices were near identical, he had no problems telling them apart. Naruto sat up and opened his eyes to look at them, though they still couldn't see his eyes because of the hair. Shio looked nervous that he was mad. What? No, why would I be mad? I did that on purpose. It's been years since the last time I was able to publicly embarrass my cute Imutos. Naruto signed in relief, thanking Kami that he was not a perv, and he was just pranking his little sisters. Jiraiya got depressed since it turned out that this Naruto was also not a pervert, and whined about, but everyone was ignoring him, and he got more depressed. Oni-sama, that's mean. Miso pouted at this while Shio gained a small smile. This was just like when they were younger. Guess he was still mostly the same. After a few moments, Naruto broke the silence again. By the way, Shio-chan, you are supposed to be the assertive twin. You can't have such a dark choice in underwear and then act bashful. What? Yelled Naruto and Kushina. Oh no, said Minato. What's his secret? Jiraiya exclaimed while going into his pervy mode before getting knocked out by Naruto this time. I'm not being bashful dash. She paused for a few seconds before a dark blush rose on her face. Wait, how the hell do you know what I'm wearing? Miso giggled at this. I know more about you two than you may think I do. The ominous tone he suddenly spoke and made them flinch as this suddenly grew very nervous. What do you mean by that? Well, I am your brother after all. Kind of part of my job. I got something for you too. Now their nervousness was replaced with curiosity. When Naruto pulled out 2 orange fox plushes, that curiosity was replaced with nervousness again. As Naruto handed them to the twins, who cautiously took them, Naruto gave him a questioning head tilt. TV turns on again, and the reactions? Well, the women gush at how cute he is with that head tilt. The men are wondering on how that was possible, and Naruto was blushing in embarrassment from this. He was not cute, Demeet. You girls are the vixens, right? Both girls blurted out against their better wishes. What? That is your title at this school, right? The girls quickly schooled themselves and nodded with an awkward laugh. Almost caught yourself on guard, you two. Deadpanned Kushina. For a second they thought they saw Naruto grin. They hated that they could read him as well with his hair covering his eyes. Hi, that's what they call us, hee. Shio rubbed her head nervously with a chuckle. After a few moments, Naruto lay back on the tree. I have to say, impressed. I've kept my tabs on you too, and you girls have come a long way while I was traveling the world. I can feel that you have become quite confident and independent. Plus you girls are tied for rank number 4 in your class. Well, it's number 5 now that I'm here, but still I'm proud of you too. I was already happy to be your brother when I left. Hearing how well you two did while I was gone made me even happier, and if anything served as motivation for me at times. He smiled to himself at the end. Ah, how cute! Cooed Kushina. Whined Naruto while the guys were snickering at Naruto until the woman sent a death glare at the man, causing them to shut up. The girls blushed and looked bashful at the unexpected praise. Arigato Oni-sama, but you are too kind. We just didn't want to fall too far behind you in your absence. And we wanted to keep you safe. Everyone could not help how kind Naruto's little sisters are in doing everything they can to protect their big brother. It was kinda cute if you think about it. Well, you two don't need to worry about that. They talked some more as the girls sat next to him to eat lunch. After a while the bell rang for them to return to class. Naruto got up with a stretch as his sisters followed behind him. Well, since you two got a title, it wouldn't be right if I, the older sibling, didn't have one of his own now, would it? The ever-cute Miso tilted her head at him as they walked. What are you going to do then, Oni-sama? If he's anything like me, it is most like claim a title that no has claimed yet, said Naruto. Naruto grinned himself as they re-entered the school building. He was aware that the whole time people were staring at him and talking. If they didn't know who he was, it wouldn't be long before they did. He would make sure of it, like how you did at the academy. Deadpan Sasuke. All he got for answer was a big smile from Naruto. Oh, just a few things to submit my status at this academy. I feel like King has a nice ring to it, if there was an irony in that it was lost on him. Student council office. 2 girls who could be seen playing chess suddenly sneezed. One was Rias Gremory while the other was a slim, attractive Meganeko with a stern expression. This glasses-wearing female went by the name Sauna Torai, though right now she looked to be in a bad mood because she had just found out about a certain someone taking her spot at the top. When the TV turned on showing Sona, someone was blushing, but it shocked everyone seeing him so out of character for him. Oh my, I did not know you could blush. Shika is blushing, ha 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 ha. Teased AC. Shut up! Yelled Shikamaru, causing everyone to laugh seeing Shikamaru so flustered. TCH troublesome. Signed Shikamaru. Relax, brain boy, at least we now know that you are interested in girls. Said AC. You're such a pain. Said Shikamaru. Anime collector smirked. Comes with the territory. Rias just had a small amused look on her face. She knew her old friend wouldn't accept it. All that she could do is see how the Mega Neko would respond to being outranked. Physical education class. Naruto could be seen with the other guys stretching his arms while wearing a dark gray tracksuit with white accents, as was the uniform for the boys in gym. He was actually one of the few guys who were still wearing their tracksuit, as it was warm enough to be without it in just their shorts and shirts. He looked over towards the other side of the gym where he looked eyes with his sisters for a second as they did stretches of their own. The girls went without their tracksuits and wore a white shirt with navy blue bloomers like the rest of the girls. He saw his sisters talking to two other girls. One he recognized as Rias from his home class, whereas the other, "Hello? Whoa, where did she come?" exclaimed Naruto and Kiba. Naruto looked her over and saw that she was about the same height as his sisters at 5'6". She had extremely long black hair tied in a high ponytail by an orange ribbon, and went down her back with two strands sticking out on top of her head. Her figure gained his attention. Oh my god, that chest! Quickly, as she had a figure similar to his sisters and Rias but had bigger breasts than all of them. As if sensing his gaze, she looked at him dead in the eye, catching him off guard. Especially since it was hard to even see his eyes through his hair up close, but she was a ways away. He was able to get a clear look at her violet, God I love that color, eyes as they had their short staring contest. She narrowed her eyes at him and gave him a small smile that caused him to narrow his, though it couldn't be seen, and grinned at her. She was setting off several warnings in his head that made him restless. Her name was Himejima Akino. When the TV turned showing Akino, no male could not hide their blush, while the woman got jealous of her due to her body she has at such a young age. As if she felt something off, Miso looked up from her stretching. Akino-chan, are you okay? At that she broke eye contact with Naruto, and I smiled at Miso. Gomen Miso-chan, it seems I got distracted. Your brother certainly seems like an interesting individual. She looked over at her brother, confused only to see him walking off with the other boys. Huh! Naruto took a breath and scratched his head. Why do I feel like I was just challenged somehow? Naruto shivered. I think she's Crazy Snake Lady's long-lost little sister. What about my long-lost little sister? Everyone jumped, hearing someone that was not from their group. They all turned around and were surprised to see who it was. Anko, what are doing here? Questioned Kurenai. Anko pointed at Anime Collector. This guy here said that there was a story that I might like to read with you guys about the brat from an alternate reality dimension, Kiba said. Whatever, said Anko. Trust me, you'll like it, said AC with a smirk. I'll be the judge of that, huffed Anko. Naruto was already sitting his mark in gym with everything. They did push-ups. He did them one-handed and faster, so that by the end he did almost twice as much as everyone else. When they ran, he was faster and ran longer without any visible exhaustion. When they climbed the rope, he didn't use his legs to brace himself, and did it in record time. This trend continued with everything. Damn, the brat has a lot of energy, just like you, brat, said Anko. We Uzumaki have twice the energy compared to most, Kushina said. That explains a lot of things now. The rookie 12 sweat drops at now, finding out the mystery on how Naruto has so much energy. No noticed the deep red blush on Hinata's face, remembering that special night she and Naruto had. No one did except for Anime Collector, but he stayed quiet and respects the girl's privacy. He sat out against the wall while the others played their sports activities. He felt something roll into his side and looked down to see a basketball. Gomen Nasai Uzumaki-senpai. The ball got away from us. He looked up to see a relatively normal yet cute flustered girl apologizing to him as she bowed. Naruto stood up with the ball and waved his hand. Yara, it's alright, no have done, and you don't have to use my surname. He gave her a charming grin that made her blush. Hi Naruto-senpai, if that's what you want. Naruto looked up at the clock on the wall and saw it was about time to go change in the lockers. His grin showed his canines as his hair spiked up and parted enough to show one eye through the shadows of his hair. Oh my! Anko licked her lips while having a small blush that only Kurenai saw, but rolled her, knowing her best friend's behavior. As if they felt it, his two sisters who were under the hoop at the other end of the court suddenly stood at attention when he looked at them. Hey, you wouldn't mind if I took a shot, would you? The girl grew even more frazzled at his suddenly wild presence. SSSS, sure, Jigo, right ahead, huh? She got confused as Naruto turned and walked towards the boys' locker room. Without missing a beat, Naruto tossed the ball behind him. Apparently most of the students in the gym had been watching him ever since he picked up the basketball, so they saw him when he threw the ball. All their eyes followed it as it flew through the air across the court, showing that Naruto had more strength in one arm than he appeared to. "No way," said Lee. "Did he?" said Guy. As the ball approached the hoop, swish, it went straight through the net smoothly and dropped into Shio's hands, who was waiting right under the hoop. Everyone stood there surprised, silent for a moment. "Youth!" exclaimed Guy and Lee, and were about to say if it weren't for Niji and Tenten quickly knocking them out before they could start off their rant. Anime Collector gave them a grateful nod, since he did not have to pull out the magic remote controller yet. Just in case he had to use it to mute the eyebrow caterpillar duo. Shio nervously chuckled to herself. "Hey Miso-chan, Nei-chan, are we sure that there isn't something about Oniai-sama that we missed?" "I know what you mean. Hi, something just feels off." "And what's with his hair?" Ria stood with a kino off to the side and giggled to herself. "Naruto-kun, you certainly are an interesting person. Alright, who wants to read next?" Before anyone volunteered in reading next, the books start floating in midair and a pair of eyes were revealed. Everyone was shocked and confused on what is going on, but Anime Collector's faces showed a look that it just remembered something. "I knew I forgot one tiny little detail about that book. That book there is sentient, and sometimes it looks for a certain person to read a certain chapter from time to time. It is doing that right now as we speak," said AC. The book was looking throughout the group before its eyes landed on Anko and floated right to her hands. Friday, Naruto casually walked off the sparring mat with a smirk as a large student crashed to the floor a second later. He picked up his notebook and checked it off. "Well, that's the judo club down." "The fuck?" yelled Kiba. "TCH, not even a week and you are already causing problems, you troublesome blonde," yawned Shikamaru. The surrounding judo club members all stood in shock. Naruto had came in and challenging their best to a spare who was basically a giant even compared to Naruto and their captain. It wasn't like Naruto wasn't polite with the challenge, but some of the guys saw this as a chance to cut the new pretty boy and future valedictorian down to size. That's how all the males felt when you were still in the ninja academy at the time, Sasuke. "So how did it feel in becoming the #1 enemy of all men at the time?" asked AC. "No comment," said Sasuke. As soon as the match started, the captain charged Naruto, intent on ending it quickly, while Naruto just sighed and walked calmly forward. When the captain was in arm's reach, the next moment was like a blur for the surrounding audience, as the next moment Naruto was still walking forward undeterred, but now the captain was behind him upside down, falling through the air like he had been thrown. Somehow the giant was unconscious before he even hit the ground. Everyone was silent on what just happened. Even though they are ninjas and use deception as their main weapon, they were still shocked at that feat, even though the humans in that dimension don't use chakra. Well, the saying "never judge a book by its cover" would be truly effective here now, would it? Throughout the week, Naruto had certainly become a topic of discussion. He wanted to make his mark, and he was definitely following through on that, as he basically went on a dominance-proving spree every day that week. "Whistle, well damn, that's alpha material right there in the making," said Kiba. I wonder how dominating he'd be in bed?" said Anko with a light blush on her face. "Anko!" yelled Kurenai. "What? Oh, don't you ladies go and deny that you were thinking the same thing I was thinking about him," huffed Anko. The only woman that did not have a blush on their face was Tsunade, Kushina, and Mikoto. "That's what I thought," snickered Anko. Naruto walked out of the clubroom going through his notebook. Sigh, well, that match was disappointing. I thought the judo club's best would be a lot more than just a little bit above amateur level. He probably wouldn't have won anyway, but still. Oh well, let's see what I have left. Just took care of the judo club. On good terms with the tennis club, though that Kyle maid felt weird to be around. On good terms with the photo club and gave them pointers. Became an idol of the manga club without even doing anything. I hope I don't regret that. Played some songs at the music club and basically revered now, and I'm pretty sure I saw some cry. Some a little for the choir club and made some quick, not my intention. The art club is basically a collection of my minions now. Student council? No need to go there, I'll let them come to. Occult research club? That sounds kind of interesting and different. I'll have to remember to check that out later. Apparently Ria-san is the president of that club. Oh great, more trouble. Whined Shikamaru. Yash, this Naruto's flames of youth shine brightly. I would love to spar with him to see how high they soar, yelled Lee. Everyone got confused when the ranting of the two got silent. They turned to see that both Guy and Lee were still talking, but no sound was coming out. What no notice is that Anime Collector was spinning a remote controller, then stopping it and blowing imaginary smoke coming from the top. You got to love the universal remote. It mutes anything, said AC. I don't know what is going on, but I am not going to look at the gift horse in the mouth and continue reading, said Anko. Naruto skimmed through his list on the other clubs he had also visited and or dominated in some way. He stopped at one name. Oh, a kendo club? And it's girls only? Alright, this will be the last one I check out for the week before I ease back. At least he knows some restraint, said Kakashi. Yada. As usual, the pay of the girls at this school is top-notch. A boy with short brown hair exclaimed as he spied on the kendo girls from outside. This boy was Hayate Issei, and possibly the most outwardly perverted boy at the school. His bald friend next to him nodded adamantly. Oh no, groaned everyone but Jiraiya. Finally someone has embraced the path of the pervert, yelled Jiraiya joyfully before being knocked out flat by 2 Pico hammers. One Pico hammer from Tsunade and the other from Anime Collector. Only a dumbass would follow that path, yelled AC. I agree with you there, brat, said Tsunade. Damn right. Everyone here is easily at least an 8. This boy went by the name Matsuda. Him, Issei, and the glasses-wearing boy next to them named Motohama all made up the school's perverted trio or hentai sanin. Motohama pushed up his glasses and nodded. Yes, especially the Captain Murayama. From my 3 sizes scouter I can see that her measurements are B33, W28, H32 in. Of course that's just my guess. The 3 screamed in surprise at the voice and looked to the left to see Naruto to the side of them looking as well. Naruto waved at them with eyes covered and a stupid smile. What? Yelled Kushina with fire in her eyes and her hair moving like it has 9 tails. Minato was edging away from her, knowing it is never a good thing to be next to her when pissed off. Issei frantically pointed a finger at him. WH, what are you doing here? Our blonde just tilted his head confused. I'm here to watch, of course. The boys stood there in shock. Issei had tears of joy. Do you mean that the school's king is a pervert as well? There's hope for us. As the trio went into their own discussion, Naruto rubbed his chin and spoke to himself. So the title of king has already starting to take root, huh? Who's there? We heard shouting. The perverted trio paled in fear as the entire kendo club came out and glared menacingly at them. After Jiraiya recovered, had put on a prayer for them, knowing that they are in deep shit with the female wrath. The captain looked at the 3 in disgust. She had brown hair and a nice figure. TCH, you 3 again? They started to shake as the girls brandished their bakken. Yara, there is no need to be upset. The girls looked to the side, noticing Naruto for the first time, who just stood there smiling with his hands in his pockets. You Uzumaki-senpai? What are you doing here? Please, just Naruto is fine. As to what I was doing, I was just having a friendly conversation with these 3. He gestured at the huddle bunch, who looked at him like they might be saved from a beating. Why are you trying to save those filthy perverts, son? Said Kushina with a sweet smile on her face and her eyes closed. How in the hell should I know? I am not this version of me here. Panicked Naruto. Senpai, you shouldn't associate it with those 3. They are nothing but perverted lowlifes who will only make you look bad and were probably peeping on us before you got here. Naruto tilted his head in thought. You are probably right, they are lowlifes. The 3 crashed down at that in depression as the girls smirked as they prepared to beat them again. But the interjection caught their attention again. Naruto smirked at what he was about to do. With all the girls here, can you really blame them? I for one see nothing wrong with being a little perverted. Oh ho, it seems like there is still some hope you yet, my young apprentice, said Jiraiya with a perverted face. Shut up, pervy sage, yelled Naruto, Kushina and Tsunade. Hey, I'm not a pervert. I'm a super. Jiraiya never got to finish what said due to the fact he is busy being pummeled to the ground by Tsunade, Kushina and Naruto, who have 2 Pico hammers in their hands. Where they got them? You can blame Anime Collector for that. Almost all the males felt sorry for him. Almost. Naruto-senpai, are you trying to say you are a pervert as well? Murayama clenched her bakken at the idea. Naruto walked towards them without a care of possible danger. And? If I was, I don't see what's so bad about this. It would just mean that I find some aspect of the girl in question appealing. Naruto ran his hand through his hair, spiking it upwards and showing his slit eyes, having only one sharp bang of hair falling forward. The girls all blushed at the sight. Even still, Murayama retorted. The TV turns on showing Naruto face currently, as it is causing all the female to blush yet again. Except for Kushina and Tsunade, who are still with Naruto beating up Jiraiya senseless. So that means you can't control yourself like some animal. She grew nervous as at that word he grew an animalistic grin as he kept walking towards her. An animal, you say? Well, animals tend to be good at what they do, so why not? I like to how much of an animal you are in bed, Naruto. Giggled Anko. Anko! Yelled Kurenai. Anko rolled her eyes at Kurenai. Oh, quit being such a prude. Nai. I have to agree on Anko there, Kurenai, said AC. How does that even help your argument? Answer this for me. She was surprised when he cupped her chin with a hand, not realizing he had already gotten that close. She blushed furiously at the action as his dominating gaze stared down at her, and she could see him looking her over, and yet she couldn't bring herself to move away like she was. Charmed. Seduction at its finest, said AC. Amen to that, said Anko. WH, what are you doing? She squeaked out as the other blushing girls just watched like it was their favorite show. What would you rather? Having a pervert express himself every now and then, or having them lose control of their hormones and end up doing something they regret? Personally, I wouldn't mind indulging myself every now and then. Naruto's smirk widened a bit as she started to remind him of a mouse, as she blushed even harder when he moved his face closer. Oh, a feisty one we have here. Me leakies, said Anko. Kurenai was going to open her mouth again, but did stop by her husband, who was shaking his head, knowing that this was a battle she can't win, and she knows it. Anko, please continue reading, said Asuma. I don't see how either option is a good one. I don't see how anything good C can come out of being a PP pervert. She stammered it out, which didn't help enforce her response at all. Jiraiya would have said something, but he's still getting hammered the living shit by the Uzumaki trio. Naruto pushed it even more and whispered into her ear as she felt his hot breath. Give me some time and I'm sure I could change your mind. Oh my, he's good, said Anko. Her entire body went red hot at this, and he could have sworn he saw steam as she stammered like a maniac. In her mind she wanted to make a retort, but it was like her body was just daring to refuse him and suffer. Not knowing how to deal with the emotions, her legs gave out and she wobbled. Though his hair went back down to cover his eyes, he wasn't about to let his game end right there. He caught the girl as if to keep her from falling and gained an expression of confusion. I think I should take some pointers here and see if that helps get the ladies, said Kiba. Don't bother, it won't work well for you, said AC. At that, Kiba got depressed knowing that it was true. Oh, are you alright? She was too weak to do anything about it, as she basically held her in a pseudo-hug. He put his hand to her forehead as if to check for a fever and concerned. You're burning up. Do you have a fever? The close proximity of him dotting over her was what tipped her over as everything finally overwhelmed her, and she started to faint. Ano, is everything alright? The party looked to the side to see a boy with short blonde hair and a mole under his left eye walking towards them. Naruto straightened up and handed the dazed Murayama over to her friend Kates. The TV turned on, showing the blonde boy causing the younger woman of the group to blush and the younger man to turn green with envy. The girls in the group shout out at the new arrival. It's Kiba-kun. Naruto walked up to the fellow blonde. Kiba-kun? As in Kiba-yuto? So you are the one who is considered the prince of the academy? Oh great, it's not surprising that some pretty boy is entitled as prince, and to make things worse he has my name, said Kiba, but smack in the head by Ino. Shut up, Kiba, said Ino. The now dubbed blonde rubbed his head bashfully at the title and gave an upbeat smile. Hi senpai, I don't believe we have been properly introduced. I am Kiba Yuto, a second-year student. It's a pleasure to meet you, Naruto-senpai. He gave a small bow to Naruto at the end. Naruto did like way and smiled. Everyone saw Anko's current smile, causing everyone to shiver, knowing nothing comes out good from that smile of hers. So you already know who I am? Hi senpai. Well, it's not like there are many students here with blonde hair. Also, you have been making quite a name for yourself lately, so I would be lying if I said I wasn't curious about who you were. Well, I thought it was only right that I get a title as well if my little sisters had one. Especially since I'm at the top of the class. I guess you could say my competitive nature is showing strong that way. Okay, I am starting to get scared here, said Choji. We are on the same boat here as well, said Obito. Yuto chuckled at that. Well, you have certainly made things interesting lately. So is that the reason you are here at the Kendo Club as well? I don't know how well it would go challenging an all-female club. Not to say that they aren't good, it just wouldn't look good for you. Kiba made sure to be careful about his wording so as to not come off as sexist. Smart boy, said all the males in the group. The females in the group just rolled their eyes. Naruto nodded his at this, having already thought of this. Not really. I was just interested in what the Kendo Club was like. I had no intention of participating. I've had some experience with swords, so I was more interested in giving advice if I could. By that time the Uzumaki trio were done beating up the hermit pervert and returning to their spots. Anime Collector went and checked on the status Jiraiya. As of right now, he will be out for the rest of the chapter. If he is giving advice on swordsmanship, then he must be good, said Kushina with a gleam in her eye. This caught Kiba's attention as he looked surprised. You have experience in swordsmanship? Received enough to feel confident in advising others? Yeah, growing up I had time to learn how to use various weapons and blades. I had a talent in them, so I received training. Impressive, said Kushina. Multiple weapons? Now that was certainly an interesting note to save for later. Naruto-senpai, if it wouldn't be too much, would you be interested in having a little skirmish? I come here every now and then to instruct the girls myself. Naruto grinned widely like a kid in a candy store. Fun! No one never noticed the small blush and the small lick on the lips from Anko. I have no problems facing you if you aren't afraid to get hurt. The excitement in the tone threw Kiba off, and yet reminded him of someone. Naruto coughed into his hand as he brought himself under control again. Kurenai was starting to panic hearing this and waringly looking at Anko. If those two ever meet, it will not go well for everyone. Sorry, what I meant to say was if you think you are experienced enough, then you don't have to worry about getting hurt. Kiba's sweat dropped at this while he followed Naruto into the clubhouse with the girls following behind them. There is still an underlining threat in that statement. Comment, you think, thought the entire tailed beast group. Sparring mat. The girls cheered as they stood off on the sidelines safely out of the way. Oh my gosh! 2 of the school's hottest guys are going to fight in our clubroom. It's the prince versus the school's number 1. Did we act like that back then? Asked Ino. Only you and Sakura did, said AC. Both Sakura and Ino blushed in embarrassment on how they acted back then. Naruto fingered the wooden sword in his hand and looked it up and down. It's been a bit since I've actually held a sword. Oh well, I don't forget things like this. Naruto-senpai, are you sure you don't want to wear the padding? Kiba likely couldn't see Naruto's eyes sharpen at him because of the hair in the way. Naruto returned a smirk. No guts, no glory, said Naruto. Only a fool would go out without some type of armor, said Sasuke. What was that, you asshole? Yelled Naruto. You heard me, dope, said Sasuke. Why you, Sasuke? Naruto, I would advise that you stop before your mothers get angry. You don't want that, do you? Asked AC. Both said boys paled and quickly returned to their mothers before anything else happens to them. This causes everyone to either giggle or snicker at the boys' predicament. I hope you aren't taking me lightly. I was trained without padding, so I never saw a need for it. What about you? You aren't wearing any either. Kiba just smiled. I was trained the same way, believe it or not. Really now? A revived Murayama came up to referee the match. Though she looked a lot more shy and reserved now. Damn, that was the fastest taming I ever had the chance to experience in knowing, and he beat my record, said Anko. Anko, please, said Kurenai. Alright, you are such a killjoy, nai, groaned Anko. Ano, how are you two going to pick the guidelines for this match? Well, I'm fine with setting the goal to 10 hits if that's okay with you, senpai. Naruto nodded in agreement, and gained a wild grin. 10 hits is a lot more than what is the standard of 2. If he's gonna push the rules, we might as well drop the rest. Also, let's have it so anything goes to get those hits. Kiba rose an eyebrow at this. He can't mean, does he want this to be like a real fight? Very well, senpai, if you are okay with that. Murayama nodded and stepped back to the edge, clear out of the way. She brought her hand down, signaling the start. Everyone noticed that the TV turned on. You will be seeing fights from time to time, so enjoy, everyone, said AC. Hajime. Neither moved as the both stood in their kendo stances of holding their bakken out in front of them. The simple smile never left Naruto's eye-covered face. After 10 seconds, Naruto thrust his bakken forward at a great speed towards Kiba's midsection. Right when it looked like it would connect, Kiba seamlessly moved out of the way to Naruto's side. His eyes widened beneath his hair in surprise before he grunted as he felt the bamboo sword connect with his left arm. Fast, thought Naruto and Minato. He jumped back and shook his arm. That's 1 point for Kiba-kun. He heard Murayama speak out from the sidelines, causing some of the girls to chatter quietly amongst themselves. That was a quick hit. I didn't even catch it. Well then, Naruto refocused and held his bakken. After a few seconds, Kiba went on the offensive and dashed at him. This time he thrust at him as well for a long stab. Right before it could hit, Naruto smoothly slid out of the way into his blind spot. Payback's a bitch, said Anko. Kiba's eyes widened in shock at this. Did he just imitate me? He pivoted on his feet and spun to block Naruto's strike, locking bakken. Sorry, senpai, but my moves won't work on me that easily. Naruto's smile widened at this. Oh huh. That's great. That means you have trained well. Naruto suddenly stepped back before jumping forward, catching Kiba off balance. He swung in a wide arc, catching Kiba in his side hard. Everyone but Anko winced at seeing that, even on slow-mo. Made-up word I created years ago. Replay. Ga! Kiba inwardly grunted from the stinging hit. Before Naruto could complete the momentum of the swing, Kiba swung down, catching Naruto's arm again. Naruto jumped back to gain space again, but his non-visible eyes widened in shock as Kiba had followed him back. Waga! Naruto had the wind knocked out of him as Kiba thrust the sword into his torso. The blow sent him staggering back as he fell to a knee and coughed. What was that? That would have been a kill move had that been a sharp weapon. You let your guard down, said Minato. Kushina shook her head. That's what you get when you start getting overconfident. That's 3 points Kiba-kun, 1 point Naruto-kun. Senpai, are you okay? I didn't hit you too hard, did I? There was some about that question that made something in Naruto snap. Oh, said Naruto. Oh, is right, brat. That brat is in trouble now, said Anko with a smirk on her face. Hee, you're looking down on me. He stood up and cracked his neck with a wild grin on his face, showing his canines. Kiba went alert as it felt like there was a shift in the air. Naruto's hair, as if it had a mind of his own, spiked up until it revealed one eye through the shadows, locked onto Kiba with a predatory gaze. Anko and Kiba was shivering seeing that look, but each had a different reason for their shiver. The sight made him anxious, but he was confused when Naruto dropped his guard and just walked towards him. Senpai, dash? He stopped himself and had quickly leaned back when Naruto suddenly sent a palm strike out at him like he was trying to grab his face. It had enough force in it for the younger blonde to feel the wind it created as it blew his hair up from just being near it. The second year jumped back to gain space. Naruto-senpai, what are you doing? He's trying to kick your ass. Stay on guard, you idiot, yelled Kushina. Naruto just swayed unconcerned. We can do whatever we want to score a hit, remember? That includes the use of our bodies. As soon as he finished, Naruto dashed forward. Kiba prepared to make a wide slash but stumbled when Naruto was in striking range. He ducked. What? Kiba was only able to glance down at the crouched Naruto. As soon as he saw his face, Kiba flinched as he saw Naruto's eye glow through the shadows. His sense told him that Naruto was about to rise up, and so continued his wide slash only to hit nothing. His eyes widened at the shock of the complete miss. Oh dear, I think Naruto went berserk, said Mikoto with her hand covering her mouth. Sakura and Hinata shivered, knowing how Naruto in their dimension was like when he entered that state. What? Snap, he grimaced as he felt a Bakken hit under his outstretched arm, making him drop the sword before he coughed out as he felt a foot impact on his stomach, kicking him away. Naruto had twisted into a one-handed handstand to kick him after he had been unarmed in a custom monkey flip. Brutal, said Nagato. Naruto stood back up with an excited look. That's 3 points Kiba-kun, 3 points Naruto-kun, announced Murayama as the girl's chatter became more animated. Naruto tossed Kiba the Bakken he had dropped, who caught it easily. Naruto ran at him again and threw his sword straight at Kiba like a javelin, which caught him off guard at that distance and hit his shoulder with a grunt. Just that fast, Naruto grabbed it out of the air and swung in reverse to get a rising strike at his chest, which the second year was able to block barely. Naruto kept his swings up with a wild pace that Kiba was able to keep up with. Each time he was blocked, Naruto got more and more into hit. He's insane, yelled Kiba. How is he doing that? Asked Choji. This is too much of a pain, signed Shikamaru, said Sasuke and Shino. Anko could not help in keeping the smile on her face from growing wider and having a blush on face. Ha! It's been a while since I've been able to cut loose. Come on, Kiba-chan. Move faster. Hit me harder. He felt his Bakken start to take damage as the hits progressively became harder, making his hands numb. He was sure it would be gaining cracks soon. He tried to get in hits in between the blocks, but it was like Naruto was moving faster than before and reading his movements. Whenever Kiba would slash or thrust his Bakken at Naruto, he would spin out of the way or lean at risky angles to avoid the attacks without needing to block or put too much distance between them. All the while through the entire assault, Naruto spoke out eccentrically. By now Anko was starting to feel damp in her lower region and doing everything she can to stay in control. Come on, Prince. Defeating you will help me become the king of the school, but I will become a monster if I have to, and do it with a sadistic smile. All the while Kiba was trying to keep his nerves down. What's gotten into him? This way of fighting isn't normal. This is more like Anko/Orochimaru's way of fighting, thought Kurenai and Tsunade. Kiba, deciding to take a page from Naruto's book, moved back suddenly while they were locked, causing Naruto to lose his footing. Kiba acted on the opportunity of his misplaced footing and swung at his outplaced leg, causing him to trip and fall. Right when Kiba was about to pursue our falling protagonist with a downward slash, he heard him say, "Bad move. Get out of there," yelled Kiba and Naruto. Everyone's eyes widened when Naruto twisted in the air, catching himself into a handstand with one arm again, and caught the enemy Bakken between his feet. Kiba this time couldn't help but say it verbally. What? Holy! said Minato with wide eyes. Shit! Said Fugaku with a rare shocked expression on his face. Oh my, said Anko with a full-blown blush on her face, and her panties are now completely soaked from being turned on. Kaha, yes! That's the spirit! Naruto pivoted on his hands so that he threw Kiba's arms off balance with his feet in a way that resembled the air flares of break dancers. He gritted his teeth as he felt Naruto's bakken spin into his thigh hard, who had gone down into doing windmills on the ground. Kiba brought his sword down on Naruto but missed as he popped off the ground out of the way. Kiba continued with a forward thrust at Naruto's facing back, but our blonde quickly spun around to knock the blade away. Comment: his movement leave him open but at the same capable to counter any attack from his opponent. He kind of reminds a B's sword style a little bit, said the Eight Tails. That's 4 points Kiba-kun and 6 points Naruto-kun. Mariah was shocked at the acrobatic display she just saw from Naruto. Naruto swung the bakken around in his hand casually as he smiled at Kiba through the wild look never left his one showing slitted eye. His lust for battle is still showing. In other words, he is not done playing with him yet, said Anko seductively. Don't you mean fighting? Questioned a nervous Kiba. No, I meant playing kukuku, laughed Anko. All the man had to jump 10 feet away from Anko after hearing her laugh. I told you she was crazy, whispered Naruto so that the crazy snake lady did not hear her. Well, Kiba Kohai, it's been fun, but it's time for me to end this. Naruto dashed straight at Kiba, but he timed his counter perfectly, and his slash hit right at the side of Naruto's arm. Naruto spun with the blow despite how solid it was and got into Kiba's personal space. The next second Kiba's eyes bulged out as he had the wind knocked out of him heavily as Naruto brought his bakken in with a hard blow diagonally at Kiba's midsection. Before he could recover, he heard Naruto speak into his ear from behind. Sometimes you have to take an attack to return a much greater one. Kiba clenched his stomach in pain but still swung widely behind him with his sword-wielding arm at where he felt Naruto was, only to end up hitting air. Heard Naruto behind him again. Good match. I'll take my win now. Kiba swung back around only to hit nothing again. The next second he felt a bakken knock his feet out from under him, and his shirt pulled back, making him fall back and his world turn upside down. Less than a moment later he felt a rising slash at the middle of his back with enough force to knock him up in the air a little higher. It's over, said Rin. It was already over when Naruto went berserk back then, said Obito. He was only able to catch the sight of Naruto spinning near him as the third year had jumped up into a side flip before Kiba felt the hardest blow yet swing straight down at his midsection with a crack that sent a ripple to the body and carried him down to the floor like a meteor. Crack! Kiba lay there stunned on the ground. He's probably never had the experience facing an opponent that fights like that, said Hiruzen. Yes, I agree, but I can't. He fights like that, Uchiha. What, like Madara? Yes, like him. Everyone turns around and to see both Hashirama and Tobirama here. Of course, Tsunade turns and faced Anime Collector with a deadpan on her face showing. Really? Said Tsunade. All Anime Collector did was shrug his shoulders and had a mysterious smile on his face, saying he is not done with the surprises. Don't worry, they already know what is going on. Anko, if you please, continue reading, said AC. That's 5 points Kiba-kun Aya and 10 P points Naruto-kun. The match goes to Naruto-kun. Naruto stood up straight again and calmed down as his hair went back to normal and covered his eyes. After a few moments of silence, the clubroom erupted into applause and excitement from the girls. Naruto just chuckled before noticing his hand felt kind of light and looked down. He paled when he saw that the bakken was broken off at the hilt and that its pieces were scattered on the ground. Kiba-san, are you alright? He ran over to him and helped him get up. He looked shaken but surprisingly okay relatively. Sorry, I got a little too into it. At least he is resentful for going too far than it should, said Hashirama. 20 minutes later, Naruto could be seen walking out of the clubroom and heading off the school grounds. As he was near the gate, he suddenly turned around and waved over at a window before continuing on his way. Up in the window, a redhead girl watched with an intrigued look on her face. It was Rias Gremory, Naruto, and the twins' classmate. I see, this is most troubling for Naruto, said Tobirama. What makes you say that? Questioned Hashirama. She could be like Mito, said Tobirama. Hey! She wasn't that bad, said Hashirama. Tobirama gave his brother a look, causing Hashirama to be depressed knowing that he was right about Mito, and causing Hiruzen to chuckle at one of his sensei's misfortune. The twins' brother certainly is something else, isn't he, Akino-chan? Her friend who stood off to the side nodded with a small smile on her face. Era has Butcher become interested in a boy? If it's Naruto-kun, then you might have to get in line. Who wouldn't be interested? He beat my knight in his own specialty. Granted, Kiba held back in his physical abilities, but I'm still pretty sure Naruto outclassed him in skill alone. Minato could say that he was impressed with the kid and Naruto, which causes him to wonder how powerful and skilled they were if they did not held back. Naruto walked through a park on his way home while enjoying the peace. He looked to the side over towards the fountain and saw two people together. He recognized the boy as the brown-haired one he talked to earlier. Whom is that, Issei? And he's talking to a girl? He noted that for later and continued on his way. Jiraiya finally regained conscience, knowing he missed out on a lot, but Anime Collector will fill him, and Anko was currently fanning herself to cool down from being turned on hard. Okay, who wants to read next? Asked Anko. Before any could take the opportunity, a bright light covers the area. Yendi, few finally finished, and it took me nearly 5 to 6 hours to do since I started. Surprised that I would bring 2 more guests in before the chapter ends. What about 1 or more mystery guests in the story? He and or she are from the NC universe, and you'll have to wait until next chapter to find out whom. Okay, I did state what I stated earlier, that we'll post up the first chapter on the Red Devil's Dragon Reaper, so here it is. Hi everybody. Hi Anime Collector. Yeah, I know it has been a while, but I got the inspiration to try again with a new story. This will be a Bleach and Highschool DxD crossover story. I know the last 2 stories had received negative feedback, but I am not a spelling grammar English whiz. I am just a normal guy who graduated in high school in 2010 and served in the military for 3 years. I never regretted my decision either. Now I should be able to do this better since I have a beta reader to help me. This reminds me, I like to thank Choice083 for being my beta reader and contributing in making this story with less faults in the story. I like to put in that my story will not be put out and updating a chapter every week. The earliest of chapters will be 1 month or the latest every 3 months. I am not lazy, most of the time. I like give out a few pointers in the regard of the story. Ichigo will not be a devil, angel, or fallen. He is still a soul reaper with his hollow and Quincy power, and a sacred gear included. Issei will be in this story but will be gender-bended. Ichigo will have the sacred gear that is not part of the series. It will be a surprise for you guys. Ichigo will be an OP if not godlike character, but he will not be involved in every fight, some but not all. This will be an Ikigatsurum pairing including gender-bended characters, males being female instead. That is all that I will say for pointers. Well, anyways, I might as well get started. Oh, one more thing. Clears throat. Disclaimer. I do not own Bleach or Highschool DxD except for the purchase of merchandise. Talk the hell. Think what did I have myself get into now? Demon/Soul Slayer/Hollow/Dragon talk strange. Demon/Soul Slayer/Hollow/Dragon think this just got interesting. Break. Ichigo Kurosaki. When you hear that name you think of that he is the human who became substitute Soul Reaper. Or, you thought that he is a Soul Reaper who was the hero of the Winter War and the 1000-Year Blood War. Or, you thought that he is the Soul Reaper who has powers of a Hollow and a Quincy in one little bundle. If it was one of these choices that you thought of on the top of your head, you would be right. In fact, he's now considered a legend to all the Soul Reapers in the Soul Society. The one Soul Reaper that defeated a traitorous Soul Reaper captain and the Quincy King that were so powerful that not even the head captain Yamamoto could defeat, even with the years of experience that he had. He wasn't weak, he was way past his prime. That became a major factor to him. It was thanks to him the balance of the 3 realms stayed intact. Who is Ichigo Kurosaki, you ask? Well, he's a man that was able to see beings of the dead and departed since the ages 9 to 10. He lost someone that was practically the very center of his world, his mother. It happened during a heavy rainstorm when Ichigo and his mother Masaki Kurosaki were walking home after one of Ichigo's martial arts lesson. On their way home, Ichigo saw a girl that looked like she was going to fall down into a raging ravine due to strong winds from the storm. Following to his name Sake, which is he who protects or number 1 guardian, ran down towards where the girl is in order to save her despite his mother's warning not to go down there. In the next instance, Ichigo blacks out and later wakes up with his mother on top on him dead. That day was the beginning that changed Ichigo's life. But it would not be the last. Years later, that was the sound of Isshin Kurosaki, father of Ichigo Kurosaki, doing his fatherly duties of waking up our beloved hero. That is doing a flying kick towards his face in his bed while he still sleeps and fails yet again to succeed. Shut it, you old goat. When I meant by fail, I mean getting kicked in the face by his son and launched right out of the window and landing face first on the ground with glass scattered all around him. Now let us focus on our hero. He is 17 going on 18 with the height of 5 feet and 11 inches and weighing about 177 pounds. He has brown eyes and sun-kissed orange hair that covers most of his right eye and partial of his left. His body physique of a fighter with compact muscles that is not bulk, but still have enough power to punch somebody's lights out and still be able to move fast. Ichigo that is now up and alert, while also being a little angry of his father still doing the whole father training his son on how to defend himself, looks out of his now shattered window, again, with a slight scowl on his face. You see, after being in 2 wars within 3 years can change a lot out of someone. After the wars Ichigo fought and made him more calm and matured him a little. He still has times of being a hothead, but it takes something major or something that would rub him in a very bad way that cause him to explode. Over time he is no longer as the dense idiot when dealing with women and was starting seeing them as attractive. He is by no means he now a pervert. We leave that to KK, Kigo and Khan. He is no longer a prude but still get easily embarrassed when he sees more on what a woman should show. This means a lot of more teasing from Yorichi and Ranjiko to our favorite Strawberry. 2 months after the war, Ichigo did confess to Orihime that he had feelings for her but not in the same she had for him. He did admit that there was a time that he had romantic feelings for her back then, but over time that changes him seeing her as another sister that he would protect from anyone that harms her. It did break her heart that they could not be together as lovers, but over time Orihime realized that her feelings for him was a simple crush at a time before they became a more sibling relationship. Of course Tatsuki was throwing a huge fit at what Ichigo did but got over it quickly and was now happy that Orihime has at least someone else to watch her back in case that she was unable to be there when she needed it. That still did not mean that she would not punch Ichigo on the shoulder, which she did, really hard. Anyways, let's get back to the present. Sign, damn it, old man, when are going to ever learn that after what has happened to my friends and I that this charade needs to stop? Said Ichigo. Never. You'll never know when you will get attacked at any time if you leave guard down. So I'll keep on doing this until the day I die. Yelled Ishin. Well, here's to hoping that day will come one day. Said Ichigo while putting hands in a prayer. Ichigo, how can you say that to your own father? Bawled Ishin. Whatever, I'll see you downstairs for breakfast. Said Ichigo, finally changing into today's clothes and heading downstairs to get his morning meal for the day. Saturday. Yawn. Shio yawned as rose out of bed as the first rays of sunlight came in through the curtains of her room. As the sheets fell off of her you could see her sleepwear. It really only consisted of a large red t-shirt. She looked to the side of her at the lump in her bed and threw off the covers. She smiled lightly when she saw Miso sleeping next to her snuggled up in a ball like a baby. The scene was so adorable to her, and she had made sure to take pictures for memorable, blackmail, reasons. The TV turns on showing Miso currently sleeping, causing Kushina to gush at the adorableness of Miso sleeping, while Naruto was currently taking pics following Shio and blackmail, pranking, on Miso for later. Miso is currently blushing in embarrassment, wishing she wasn't here right now. Miso had a more modest choice of sleepwear compared to Miso basically being half-dressed. Hers consisted of a violet buttoned-up pajama top and bottoms. Though she looked more innocent than her older twin, the fact that her top had a few buttons undone to expose a little of her chest would probably make some random person question her intentions. Not bad, I say, a nice low D size, said Jiraiya, who was currently spotting a perverted smile on his face. Not even a second later Miso kicked said pervert in the nuts, very hard FYI, causing the hermit to sing in soprano. This caused the males to cross their legs, the females spotting sadistic smiles on their faces, and Naruto, Enko, the tailed beast, and anime collector laughing their asses off. Ow, my balls, said Jiraiya before he fainted from the pain. Please continue reading before any more distractions happen, said Tobirama, understandable since they were both probably the third most endowed girls at the academy. She was also used to sleeping with her sister for years. Sure, Miso had her own room, but they still slept together often, a habit from their childhood. Both of them with their hair undone had it go down to the small of their backs. What the hell do you girls eat to get a figure like that? Asked a jealous Sakura, due the fact that no matter what she did she could not get her little girls to grow. Shio and Miso just have smug smirks on their face as their response before they continue reading. Shio got out of the bed and stretched her limbs, letting her fox features and tail show. They were a little stiff as they didn't like to keep them hidden for so long, but they chose to keep their brother from finding out when they were sleeping. She rubbed her younger sister's shoulder to get her awake. Does your clan have same kind of problem? Asked Naruto. Sort of. My mother or sister could better explain it than what I could. That is if they were here to start with, said Kiba. Come on, Miso-chan, it's training day, now get up. Miso groaned and just snuggled deeper, ignoring her. Shio sighed and got back on the bed. She stood over her sister and kicked her off. Get up. The younger blonde sister whimpered but got up nonetheless after that. Great, she acts like my mother when she tries getting me up. What a pain, said Shikamaru. Basement. The girls were walked down the steps towards the training room. Yasaka had given them a pretty big house to live in. It was more compared to an upper-middle-class home, or a small mansion if you wanted to call it that. It had more than enough bedrooms, with both the girls' and Naruto's being equal to that of your average master-sized bedroom with Western king-sized beds. More than they needed, but their lazy aspects of their animal natures would take advantage of the luxuries. The TV turns on, showing the house inside and out. The members of certain clans had to agree the size could be equivalent to a small clan house. The average size ones, that is. The home also had 2 large entertainment rooms, the equivalent of a small theater room, and a large kitchen. Yep, definitely more than they needed. It was like it was their aunt's goal to spoil them hard. Luckily it didn't work too well. There was also a nice-sized pool in the back that they would make use of. What made the house even more unique was what was below the ground. Down in the basement was a custom training room with all the equipment they could need to keep their strength up or spar if they wanted to. One of the very few things important to house that's needed, said Minato. The clan members nodded there in that assessment, while Anime Collector deadpans at Minato's response. Minato notices Anime Collector's expression awkwardly. What? Asked Minato. Nothing at all. Miso, Shio, continue reading please, said AC. Now we are going to warm up and then do our regular sparring matches like usual dash. As they opened the door to the room they froze as there was someone already there. They started at the one who was holding himself in a one-armed handstand. From the blonde hair and scent they already knew it was Naruto. He looked to be holding himself halfway through a one-armed handstand push-up. He held it for a minute before going all the way down, and holding it for a minute and then going back up. Youth! Yelled Guy and Lee. Whoops, I must have accidentally unmuted them, said AC before he pulled the UR and muting the 2 spandex man before they could start their ranting about flames of youth again. Cue shiver. The girls were surprised by the level of exercise their brother was doing, as they didn't think that he was strong enough to do that. They never thought he was weak, but that kind of exercise, to do it with such ease and that period of time, was not something a human could achieve easily. It took a lot of work. I have to agree on that assessment. That kind of training is usually reserved in use by Jonin, or higher. It is quite impressive for the boy at that age, said Tobirama. The older ninjas could not argue that fact and were quite impressed themselves as well. Or rather, they thought of that at first, but then got distracted by the fact that he was only wearing sweatpants. They were able to look at his back and the toned muscles of it to his shoulder blades all the way to his arms as they flexed and tensed with his push-ups. The TV turns on, showing Naruto exercising. This again causes the younger woman to blush, and some were drooling at the same time with blank looks in their eyes. Enko had a small blush on her face, and was seductively licking her lips to moisten them up. She defiantly likes what she is seeing. Guy and Lee? Well, if they were not muted earlier, they would be ranting more and being louder than they were earlier. Yet they did not know they are muted. Let's keep it that way. They heard Naruto grunt 50 as he dropped down to his feet. This snapped the girls out of it, and they hurriedly hid their fox features, forgetting they were still up. You almost got caught, deadpanned Kushina. The twins were acting all sheepish at their blunder in the past. As Naruto stood back up, he smiled when he noticed his sisters there. Well, good morning, Emutos. As he straightened his body, his hair stayed spiked out of the ways of his eyes as if it was as primed as his body was after the workout. The girls blushed when they saw how toned his body was. They watched mesmerized as a bead of sweat dripped down his chest and curved with the contour of his pecs before going down the ridges of his developed abs. Well, would you look at that? You two got a crush at your big brother, teased AC. The twins could only blush and were unable to retort back at Anime Collector. Well, if you girls are here to use the room, I'm pretty much done now if you wanted privacy. He went to the side to grab a towel. He wiped his face and arms with it before throwing it around his neck. Shio regained her focus and stopped staring and discreetly pinched her twin, who was still in her own world. Oniai-sama, why are you here? Naruto quirked his eyebrow at this. What do you mean, why? You should know what a person's reasons usually are for entering a workout room. He's got you there, laughed Obito. Shut up, yelled Miso and Shio. That's not what I meant. I meant, how did you know about this room? It has a seal on it. He shouldn't even be able to see the door to it. Ah no, it's just in the basement. Not that hard to find it, and Obasan told me about it so that I could exercise. The twins mentally deadpanned, sharing a similar thought. Why? They could just picture Yasaka laughing at them like she was pranking them. This just made their job harder to keep their kitsune natures hidden from him. It's like their aunt wanted them to get caught. They came out of their thoughts at Naruto's voice. Kushina giggled at the thought of doing that if she was still alive and had more children. Oh well, she was just happy and only have one child, but she did hope to becoming a grandmother if what she is seeing from the interactions between her son and girlfriend. She was becoming one soon, though I have to wonder what our aunt was thinking. Some of these things are unnecessary. He motioned to the weights, Specifically the dumbbells, which went from 10 pounds to 300 pounds. Where did she even get some of these? These are too much for you girls. I would say that's sexist, but even I would agree that some of those weights is too much for us women, said Karina. I wouldn't say that if I were you. I have seen women on TV once that they reach the same muscle mass that is equivalent to the current rakeage. Seriously? Asked Anko. Oh yeah? Said AC. Damn, said Anko. Shio thought to herself. That may be Naruto and Aiken, but we are stronger than we look. I'm sure she got those weights with the idea of you using them in mind. Guys like it when you comment on their strength, right? He's not strong enough for higher weights, but hopefully the compliment will distract him. Naruto absently took the statement to heart, and didn't react to the compliment hidden in it. That may be. He walked over to the higher weights, and easily picked up a 200 pounds dumbbell, causing their eyes to bulge. He did a few reps with the weight in one arm before putting it back. Yeah, I guess these have some uses, though I can't go much further than that. He looked back at the girls and looked confused at their faces. The crowd wasn't faring any better except for Tenten. Oh great, we got another guy sensei and Lee in the making, groaned Tenten. What? Miso nervously chuckled. Why, you're just a lot stronger than you look, Oni-sama. That is about the same weights we use. Naruto grinned and rubbed the back of his head. Yeah, well, I always worked out and exercised while I was traveling. Naruto walked towards a closet and opened it before the girls could stop him. It was filled with a variety of weapons. Why is there weapons in the closest to begin with? Asked Minato. Isn't that dangerous to being with as well? Asked Fugaku. We were trying to hide them from our big brother from that time, yelled Miso. There was no other place to put them besides bury them. What else could we do? Yelled Shio. Okay, calm down you two and focus back on the story, said AC, though this is kind of cool. Why would she give us an assortment of dangerous weapons like these? The closet was filled with a variety of real weapons, all kinds of blades, swords, blunt weapons. Assortment was definitely the right word to use. Naruto took out a large scythe that made the girls nervous. That weapon was more dangerous than he thought it was. Nice, said Tenten. And maybe she wanted us to have a hobby? Shio spoke nervously, hoping he would buy it. Luckily Naruto did with a grunt, and then started spinning the scythe around with surprising efficiency, causing the girls to silently panic. After a few seconds he stopped, and put it back in the closet. He walked by them and absently glanced at what they were wearing. What is that, yoga shorts and a yukata top? He noticed how it exposed a little of their chests. Nice. Jiraiya was giggling perversely and writing in his notebook for the next itchy book, but he got punched in the face by Tsunade and his notes was in anime collector's hands, who later burned it, causing Jiraiya to wail at seeing his next big story to be destroyed before it could be published. Just ignore the pervert and keep reading. Cool. Well, anyway, I'm going to go wash up. Breakfast will be ready in an hour. He walked past them and out the door before closing it and heading back to the normal floor. They looked at the door he went out of, and after a few moments the girls let out a breath they didn't know they had been holding. Vroom, they squeaked in surprise at the noise and turned around. They paled when they saw several cuts suddenly show up across the room and a nearby punching bag split in half. Everyone could not help but say damn at damage that weapon has done. Tenten was saying I want it repeatedly in a creepy way, causing everyone to scoot away from her. After a few moments Shio spoke out seriously. Miso-chan. Hi Ne-chan. We need to call up Yasako Basin. Something doesn't feel right. I feel like we're being pranked. Hi Ne-chan. Kushina and Naruto laughed at the Shio and Miso in thinking that they may have indeed just been pranked. The twins just grumbled at their stupid big brother at being pranked. Hour later, play Naruto main theme. The girls finished their short exercise they had and after bathing followed the sound of the music to the kitchen. They saw Naruto humming to himself at the stove while fixing pancakes. He had also fixed eggs and bacon along with toast and rice ready. Only problem with it was how he was dressed. Shio's face twitched with a blush when she saw Naruto was just wear shorts and an apron. No shirt or anything else. The TV turns on showing Naruto, and again causing same reaction at the woman from earlier. Hubba hubba, said Anko. Anko! Yelled Kurinai. Oh, give me a break, Nia, said Anko. Naruto looked back over them with a cheery smile, his hair going back down over his eyes. Hold on, the food is almost done. With all that drool you girls must be hungry. The twins looked at each other before blushing heatedly and wiping their mouths. Naruto turned back towards the food and gained an evil shit-eating grin that they couldn't see as his face went dark. I am having too much fun with this. Oh Naruto, you're such little prankster devil. Just like your mom. Giggled Kushina. Oh boy, I feel sorry for the twins, thought Minato. Big brother, you're such a meanie. pouted Miso and Shio. Naruto fixed their plates and sat it on the table for them to eat. Naruto took his apron off and, having nothing better to do, just sat on the counter and watched them. The girls bashfully ate their food, too embarrassed at the moment to look up at him. Shio was stuck in her own thoughts. Why is he getting to us so easily? He's just our older brother. Sure, he's grown up well, looks like a man, and can break rocks with his chest. No, bad thoughts, bad thoughts, bad thoughts. I should have no problems being able to look at the half-naked body of my sibling. And of course Miso was having similar thoughts as her twin. Oni-sama looks delicious. I mean, he tastes delicious. I mean, the food tastes delicious. That's what I meant, damn it. Stupid hormones, thought the rookie 12, knowing what they had go through growing up. Naruto just smirked lightly to himself as he noticed the girls slow down their eating and saw their cheeks redden. He wasn't sure why that was, but it still amused him. I can't tell if he's dense or just messing with them, said Choji. Knowing him, I say it's both, said Sasuke. I agree, said Shikamaru. Me too, said Kiba. Same here, said Niji. Ditto, said Tenten, Ino, and Sakura. It's logical, said Shino. Oh, fuck you guys, said Naruto sarcastically. Do you girls not like the food? The twins shot out of their thoughts, almost choking on their food, and stuttered out at the same time. And no, it's good eep. They lost their voices at the end, which they mentally cursed at. Reason being, as soon as they lifted their heads, Naruto was cracking his fingers. Now this wasn't a problem, it was the fact that with each crack he flexed his pecs at the same time to match it, catching them off guard as they stared longer than they should have before forcing their heads back down to look at their food. Comment, now that is just evil. I love it, laughed Kurama. Yeah, keep on laughing, old man, said Miso. Comment, hey, I'm not old, yelled Kurama. Everyone, including Anime Collector, was giving Kurama the look. Comment, okay, I'm old, but at least this old fox can still kick all your guys' ass, yelled Kurama. No one bothered to challenge him, causes it's true, even some who has the power to tame Kurama know that without their power that they have, they would have died facing him. When Miso finally finished eating, she flinched when she felt someone grab her. Her entire body went red when her face was in Naruto's chest, fully able to feel the heat off his skin. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta dash. She stuttered hard, unable to form a coherent sentence. Oh great, she's acting like Hinata, said Ino. You would be acting like that too if it happened to you, said AC. Ino looked away so no one could see her blush. Naruto swung her from side to side in a hug, as she got dizzy. Ah, you're so cute when you're shy. I could just eat you up. Naruto stopped shaking her as his hair spiked enough to show one eye and whispered into her ear in a sly tone. You know, with how you've grown, I wouldn't mind not being your brother for a night, Mikoi. What? Yelled Naruto. Oh no, here we go again, groaned Kushina. Troublesome, said Shikaku and Shikamaru. Teach me, master, said Jiraiya while bowing in front of the book, scaring the twins. Shut up, pervy sage, yelled Naruto. This time it was Anime Collector who kicked Jiraiya in the nuts for being a super pervert again and scaring the twins. Not again, wailed Jiraiya. Please continue reading, you two, said AC. He dash. Miso let out a high squeak before she passed out, overwhelmed, her eyes looking like swirls and her face flushed. Naruto chuckled maliciously to himself as he let her down. I knew it, Kakuku. He looked at the seat next to her, and seeing that Shio was gone, she left her younger twin here and ran away? His grin got even wider. You can hide all you want, Shio, but I will find you, he shouted with his voice echoing throughout the house. For the next while screams could be heard. Okay, now you're scaring me, Naruto, said Kiba. To tell you the truth, Kiba, I'm scared of myself also, said Naruto. Outside the house, people outside the home looked at the house as they walked by in curiosity at hearing all the noise. They could hear thumping noises and the sound of dishes breaking. Naruto, leave me alone. Ha, come on, I just want a hug. You're lying. Era, you don't trust me? Fine, then put some clothes on first, damn it. It went silent in the house as people watched on confused until they heard a feminine scream again. Oh God, why do you have a sponge? After that, all most of what was said for a while was just screams and Naruto's laughter that bordered on insanity. Everyone was quiet just now until Shikamaru was the one to break the silence. What the hell did you just do? Asked Shikamaru. I don't know. Shio, what was that back there? Asked Naruto. I don't want to talk about it, said Shio with a shiver running down her spine. Said action was repeated by everyone else. People outside talked with themselves on the matter. Should we call the cops? Mommy, what's in that house? It sounds like fun. Just ignore it and keep walking, sweetie. End theme. Let's not talk about this ever again. If everyone agrees, say aye, said AC. I said everyone else. Next Friday. Shio-chan. Miso-chan. I'm going out again, Assuming they heard him, he left out the door into the night. He had been doing this fairly often on the whims of his instinct since he came back to Japan the past few weeks to just roam the town at night, whether just running around or going with a purpose. He liked the open air and loved seeing what was going on. He also found looking at the night sky and moon relaxing. He was never gone for much longer than an hour, so it's not like his sisters got too worried. His night gear was all black pants, shirt, and hoodie. Not a good color to wear too much of at night for multiple reasons, but he liked it. He walked down the streets with his hood up, going by groups of people relatively unnoticed. There were people standing outside their homes, walking to place to eat, or even just out to socialize. He walked by the small streets and through alleys at a sedated pace until he made it to a public park. He sat down on a bench for a while and watched the sun set the rest of the way, enjoying the peace. He smiled at how nice it felt. Now that would be nice, said Shikamaru with a small smile on his face. Why do I feel like this is just a calm before a storm kind of situation? Now the moment is ruined, said Shikamaru. He noticed a stray dog go by and whistled to it to make it come over. The dog looked rough but became instantly friendly towards Naruto, and came to him obediently. Naruto pet it, and rubbed its head for a while as its tail wagged back and forth, happy to get a rare dose of attention. This can't be that obvious, can it? Thought Kiba. After a while the dog laid on the bench next to Naruto, enjoying the company, and they both sat there in peace. After a few minutes the dog lifted its head up and growled in the direction of the fountain, gaining Naruto's attention. He looked over in that direction and saw two people standing next to the fountain. He got surprised when he recognized them. Is that Issei? And he's with that girl again? What's that girl doing being with that pervert? Asked Kushina. Minato narrowed his eyes, sensing something bad was going to happen. His instincts haven't proved him wrong yet. They were a bit away out of earshot as he went over to them just to be nosy. As he got close, something told him to walk a little faster as he watched them, and a little more faster, and then running. Then when he saw black wings come out of the girl's back, he was full on sprinting faster than he should have been able to run. What the hell? This is what you mentioned earlier, right? Asked Minato. The only response he got was a nod from Anime Collector. At the fountain, an attractive girl with long black hair and violet eyes stood in front of Issei at the fountain. In honor of our first date, there is something I would like for you to do for me to commemorate this special moment. Issei blushed at the possible implications of that wish. Sure, you can ask me for anything at all. She gave him a cheery smile as black wings came out of her back. Could you please die for me? Issei nervously took a step back, not sure what to make of it. I said, could you please die? The girl's clothes changed into a bunch of straps as her outfit, holding her breasts and forming a thong as it wrapped around her body. Show it to me, yelled Jiraiya. The TV turns, showing the woman with wings causing the hermit flying backwards and gets hit by a Pico in mid-swing from Anime Collector, causing him to fly out so far in the field. Home run, yelled ACW. What's going on, Yuma? I have to admit I had some fun today despite how naive and perverted you are. It could have been much worse, but even so it's time to die. She formed a magenta spear of light and threw it right at Issei, who was too frozen in fear to run away. Right when he was about to be impaled, he felt a force tackle him from the side and into the ground. He grunted out as he looked around. Looking up, he saw a figure in all black clothing crouched over him, but noticed the blonde hair even in the falling light of night time. The hero always comes at the last second, yelled Naruto and Obito. Some of the group laughed at the two from their antics, while the rest just shakes their head in amusement. Sorry, but as the top student at Ko Academy, I can't allow my fellow underclassmen to do anything endangering or illegal while I'm around. And if I heard right, I'm pretty sure dying counts. Naruto-senpai? The blonde gave a smile at him. Well, Issei, I had heard you got a girlfriend, but it seems like she was overhyped, huh? Boy, who are you to interrupt our date? Naruto's smile shrunk a little as he stood up to face her. I'm gonna say two things to that. 1, you don't look much older than me if at all, so don't talk down to me. And 2, when you are trying to kill the other, I'm pretty sure that means the date is over, bird lady. Obito, Naruto and Anko were laughing their head off at the insult. I'm not a bird human, I'm a fallen angel. She formed another spear in her hand, making Naruto wary. Well, I guess that explains the erotic outfit and the weapon. I guess that also means you're way older than me too. A tick mark appeared on her head at the last remark, causing Naruto to sweat and step back. Yeah, I think you were pushing it there, kid, said Hashirama. I am starting to see more resemblances with the brat here to the brat there, said Tsunade. Issei, you should run while you can. The brown-haired teen was about to do just that before he saw Naruto's back. Wait, Naruto-senpai, your back is bleeding. Yes, that spear from earlier nicked me. Don't worry about it, just go. Biba dash. Can't you see he's trying to save your life, you moron? Said Sasuke. They were cut off by the fallen's voice. It's a great idea, but I'm afraid I can't let you leave Issei-kun. Maybe your cute blonde friend, if I feel like it I'll let him live after I've had some fun with him, but you still need to die. And my real name is Rainer, not Yuma. No thanks, crazy bird lady, said Naruto. Naruto just offhandedly pointed back at her. All that you just said? I'm not sure how I feel about that. But I can't let you kill him. The fallen angel just gave a malicious smile at them. Such a shame. If you want to protect him so bad, I guess you will have to die trying. She chucked a spear at Issei's chest, but Naruto pulled him out of Hiwei by his shirt before it could get him. As if finally taking the situation seriously, his hair spiked up so had both his slitted eyes could glare at Issei. Move! That did the trick as Issei scrambled to run away from the area without argument. That almost got me going, said Kiba. Nice try. That instant Naruto's eyes widened. As soon as he turned around to face her, he saw a spear heading straight for his face, and leaned back out of the way to avoid it. It was only right when he did it did he realize his mistake. Shink! Pupils dilated as he saw Issei impaled through the back with the spear. The boy was only able to grunt out in pain before he fell over dead. Ha 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 ha, you suck at protecting, little boy. Tell you what, to make it up to you for impaling your little friend, how about I let you impale me? She formed another spear of light and licked it erotically. Everyone, including Anko, could not help be disgusted and angry at this fallen angel. I will impale your face on a lamppost. Naruto almost snarled out as his face twitched in anger. Rainer blinked at this. Well, that's not very nice. Naruto whipped out 2 kitchen knives and ran at her at a fast speed as he roared. She blocked them with her spear, showing some surprise. Why the hell is a kid walking around at night with knives? A Cheshire cat-like grin grew on her face, showing off her sharp canines when she got a close look at his face. I have a bad feeling about this, said Naruto. You're not the only one, said Minato. Wait a minute, blonde hair, sexy face, cute whisker marks, and the boy said, Naruto? You're that Uzumaki character that Azazel-sama said to watch out for, but I don't see what's so dangerous about you. Naruto's face went blank for a second before smiling. She gasped in surprise when she suddenly felt a knee in her gut, making her drop her guard. She tried to jump away as Naruto used the opportunity to slice with his knives rapidly, leaving multiple cuts bleeding on her. That's a rookie mistake right there, said Tobirama. Indeed it is, brother, said Hashirama. She now grew angered at the situation. How dare you, filthy mortal, draw my blood? To think a thing happened is such a disgrace. She flew at him with rage and swung her spear, making Naruto shocked when it cut cleanly through his knives, leaving hot metal. She swung it wildly as he chased him through the park, making him trip and stumble over various obstacles in his path. It was only thanks to his agility and reflexes that he was able to keep dodging despite this. It had gone on for a good 5 minutes, and Naruto's clothes and skin had cuts on it where the spear had gotten too close. Kushina was starting to shake, remembering what happened in the first chapter. Minato was doing everything he can to keep his wife calm, and it was working a little bit, but that will soon change. Right when they were back at the fountain, Naruto took a gamble, and suddenly jumped towards her, kick her hard in her stomach, making her stumble back before she grew even angrier. She flew up and formed another spear of magenta light. I'm tired of this game. She hurled the spear like a javelin right down at him, which he was easily able to dodge. However, he cursed as right when it hit the ground before his feet it exploded, sending him flying. With his skill he was able to right himself in the air and land on his feet. However, as soon as he did, shink, he coughed up blood as a spear ran all the way through his chest, making him fall against the tree that was behind him. No! Yelled Kushina. Okay, everyone take a 30-minute break to calm the fuck down. For fuck's sake, some you guys are getting way too into this, said AC. Everyone agreed to take a break. Naruto was spending time with his parents. Sasuke and Ino were doing the same thing. The rest of the Rookie 12 and their senseis were hanging. The Kages besides Minato were grouped together talking about the past and hopes for the future. For Anime Collector, well, he's hanging out with Anko drinking a glass of rum and coke with barbecue and honey chicken wings while Anko was having dango and sake. 30 minutes passed by and now everyone is back together getting comfortable, and now we continue with the story. At home, Shio was watching on the couch with Miso, basically having a lazy Friday doing nothing. All of a sudden their fox ears shot up and they went alert. Something's not right. Miso, where is Naruto? The younger twin, looking just as serious as her sister, responded swiftly. He said he was going out again. He's been gone for over almost 2 hours now. Shio got off the couch and headed towards the door to the outside. Miso, come on, we are going to find Oni-sama. I have a bad feeling. Back in the park, Naruto's body laid against the tree as his life fluid spilled out along the trunk and ground. Rainer smirked at his situation, enjoying his fate as she stood in front of him. Bitch! growled Kushina. Calm down, Kushina. Miso, Shio, continue reading. Commanded AC. I have to admit you put up a good fight for a dirty human, but in the end it was pointless. If you had stayed out of others' business and worried about yourself, you would have probably lived a little longer. She turned to walk off and leave him, but after a few steps something told her to look back. CRNNCH. She blinked as Naruto was suddenly in midair in front of her with his arms loosely crossed. He had broken her arm, twisting it around at the bone itself. This shocked everyone. What the fuck just happened? HAARG. She screamed out in pain as her blood out from the torn skin on the twisted limb. Her face turned to a look of outrage as she made a clutching motion at Naruto and pulled out the spear lodged in his chest with an invisible force. Why don't you learn to stay down, you fucking worm? Even more of Naruto's blood splashed out of the now open wound as he stood there unresponsive, his body swaying with his arms twitching. His face was unreadable as it was shadowed by his matted hair as blood dribbled down his chin. Something about him was starting to make her nervous. Get ready for the hurt, said AC. It's time you learned to stay dead. She pulled her arm back to throw the spear back at his head. Right when the weapon was about to leave her hand, she froze. At that exact moment, the blonde's hair spiked up till one eye glowed white ominously through the shadows, staring right at her. She felt a presence she was not familiar with, and it unnerved. This feeling. It's not pure human, or even devil. It even feels like her eyes shook with fear at the end. What are you? She flinched when Naruto fell over headfirst into the ground. Taking that as her cue, she recovered her nerves and flew off as fast as she could. Naruto was left there to bleed out on the cool ground of the park. Whatever she saw must have scared her. But what was it that she saw? Asked Hiruzen. I think we are going to find out shortly, sensei, said Tsunade. After a few minutes a choked cough could be heard and Naruto turned over on his back. Cough, cough. Well, I fucked up again. He looked up at the moon in the night sky, forgetting the pain he was in. Again? You mean this happened to him before? Yelled Kushina. Yes, it has happened before. It will be mentioned in the later chapters, said AC. I'm pretty sure this has happened before. Oh well, I don't plan on dying here. He noticed a red light to the side of him and a person approach him. How badly do you want to live, Naruto-kun? Naruto looked up and saw a familiar face that he had gotten used to recently. Oh, it's that redhead with the giant gazongas from my class. Rias? What the hell are you, Dash? How badly do you want to live, Naruto? She asked the question again more seriously. I can't die yet, and have no plans on doing so anytime soon. Good answer, Naruto-kun. She took out a red chest piece and brought it towards his chest. Wait, Rias, what are you doing? I think your sisters would hate me if I didn't try to save you. What do you mean, save me? I will heal on my own. So this me have a healing process like when I use Kurama's power? Asked Naruto. Yes, but his is all natural, said AC. Lucky, pouted Naruto. Don't worry, you will be able to take a lot more damage as a devil. Are you listening to me? I don't need you to save me. Be reborn as my servant, and as a devil of the Gremry household. Hold on, servant? I hope you enjoy your new life as my pawn. God damn it, woman arg. Naruto screamed in pain as the chest piece entered his chest through the tears in his clothes with a flash of light. After the light died, blood exploded out of Naruto's mouth, and his body went lifeless. Ria, seeing this, grew very worried and checked for a pulse. What the fuck just happened? Asked Anko. I don't think anyone knows what just happened, said Jiraiya. What happened? He should have been revived. I can't feel his pulse or energy, or anything. Just at that moment Rias cursed her luck as the people she least wanted to see this jumped into view. It was none other than the Fox twins. Right at that arrival, Shio was able to take in the scene fully and froze up at what she saw. Miso, however, didn't read the situation as fast. Rias-chan, we're looking for Naruto Oniyama. Have you seen him? Miso's voice died down towards the end when she finally noticed who Rias was over. Seeing Naruto's stiff form and Rias' hands covered in his blooded. Miso went silent, making Shio alert. Yes, she's fucked, said Anko. The next second, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. Miso's went feral as her eyes slitted. Her hair became wilder, her nails and canines lengthened, and tribal marking appeared over her skin. Her tail flared wildly as a dark magenta aura engulfed her body. Well, it was nice knowing you, Red, no matter how short it was, said Anko. Boom! The ground cracked and cratered in front of Rias. Her eyes widened in shock at the speed Miso moved. The only reason she was relatively unscathed was because Shio had somehow intercepted Miso and blocked her, having changed the same way as her sister but with a dark red aura. Ria's voice came out meekly as she spoke, Shio. She was cowed by the dark look Shio shot down at her, which was emphasized by her current feral appearance. Shio held Miso back behind her as her feet dug deeply into the broken ground. You are so lucky I'm still faster than her, and the more rational one, so if I were you I would start talking about what happened Gremory before my hand slips. She better do it quickly, said Kushina, or this is going to die, said Minato. Naruto was doing a quick prayer for Rice even though she is a devil. Ria spoke frantically due to the situation and her own worry. I don't know what happened, I tried to turn Naruto into a devil but dash. You what? Yeah, that was not the best thing to say to two pissed off sisters, said AC. He had gotten into a fight with a fallen angel. He had decided to stand up for another target of mine, which made him a target of the fallen angel. I stayed out of it because I was trying to keep my status of a devil a secret like you would have preferred. He put up a good fight, and even did some damage, but ultimately took a lethal blow in the end. Afterwards I tried to save him by restoring him as a devil, but something went wrong. I'm so sorry. She was almost crying by the end as she bowed her head. Everyone except for Anime Collector and the sage bowed their heads. The sage was thinking there was more to this, and Anime Collector knows what happens next. Miso's body lost its strength, and she fell to her knees shaking in fear. Shio stumbled back a few steps as she held her head. So why you mean to tell me that Oni-sama is the dash? Ba-bump. They went silent as they heard the beat. And then they heard another, and pretty soon it was with a rapid rhythm as they looked at Naruto's body. His skin rippled as veins bulged throughout his body. His muscles convulsed as the beat got faster. It speed up more and more as his body started to flail on the ground before it glowed and there was an explosion. The force knocked the girls several meters away with a flash of red breaking the ground. When the dust cleared they saw Naruto. He started growling as dark gray fur started to cover his body. His eyes went all white as body mass grew up by a few feet and his limbs morphed. A large black fox-like tail shot out of his tailbone with a white tip and matching ears. Most of his clothes were in rags with his pants barely holding on. What he resembled now was a large bipedal canine-like beast, and think like Kurama's body but more masculine, looking like a wolf. The TV turns on showing in his current form. This has caused Kiba to jump out of his seat. That's why I have been acting all weird since the first chapter. I was sensing a damn alpha wolf in front of me this whole time, yelled Kiba. Shio, unsure of what to make of this, shakily asked out, and Naruto Oni-sama. Is that you, Dash? They grabbed their ears as the beast let out a loud, powerful roar that was sure to gain attention. The force of it was strong enough to make them slide back a few feet as shockwaves of wind went by. Rias, what did you do? I already told you. I thought you said Naruto was human. We thought so too. She saw Naruto turn around and saw a large X on his back, causing her eyes to narrow. Is that a seal? She saw him start to run off. What? There is a seal on him, yelled Kushina. It seems like it, but what does it do? Asked Jiraiya. I can't tell what it is, said Minato. Don't let him leave the park. They then proceeded to chase after him, with Rias releasing her wings and taking off to the sky. Naruto was running on all fours heading to a gate when he suddenly stopped as a red and black ball of energy came down in front of him and exploded. The beast looked up and growled at the suspected redhead floating above. Sorry, Naruto-kun, but I can't allow you to leave just yet, she gasped when Naruto suddenly jumped up at her. That's high, she coughed out when she was headbutted in the gut and knocked away. He landed back on the ground ready to run off again when Miso and Shio suddenly appeared on both sides of him ready to block him off. Were you able to stop him? Asked Hashirama. No, said Miso. We were not able to beat him, said Shio. Miso looked nervous at the change that had happened to her brother and didn't want to hurt him. Oni-sama, please come to your senses. She flinched when Naruto suddenly got in front of her while her guard was down. She squeaked when the wild creature started sniffing her body and face like a dog. She blinked when he left a large wet lick along the side of her face, slicking her hair to one side before running off again. Naruto's flee was halted as his torso was suddenly wrapped in a large chain wrapped around his torso. He looked and saw that it had grown out of Shio's hand. Miso, hurry up and help me restrain him. Hi! Miso ran up and shot a chain out of her hand as well, further binding him before he could run off, making him growl out. Rias flew in above him, forming a spell circle. Girls, hold him there, I'm going to put him to sleep. What? You can't kill him. I meant in the nap time way, not the euthanized way. Kiba started to look sheepish and everyone noticed. What? I was thinking the same thing when Rias said about putting him to sleep, said Kiba. A white ball shot out of Rias's hands and into Naruto's head, and he stood there. After a few seconds, Shio quirked an eyebrow at this. Well, WAO. Naruto started forcing the chains apart from him with pure physical strength. Rias, why isn't he sleeping? Apparently he's been unconscious this whole time. Well, that's not good, said Hashirama. Indeed, but to be able to fight even you are passed out is nothing short to impressive, said Tobirama. Two black appendages shot out of the beast's lower back and Naruto shot high up into the air, escaping the chains. He went high up into the sky in front of the moon, and then out of nowhere was struck by lightning, and hurtled all the way back into the ground, crashing though it with a groan. Ria smiled. Great timing as always, Akino. Era, I didn't know you had a dog, Shio and Miso-chan. He's not a dog, he's Naruto. Naruto howled again, and the ground blew up off him as he stood up again. Akino stared at the creature before looking back at Shio. That looks like a dog to me. A dog is still a dog even when it's standing up like a human, said Anko, nodding head. You do know that he is a wolf, not dog, right? Asked AC. Ria spoke up from the side. It's a long story. She looked at the new limbs on his back. Well, I guess those wings prove his new devil blood, but they look different. They don't look like they are meant for flying, but I guess they get the job done. But if the devil blood has taken root, then I should be able to control him, right? She didn't like using that aspect of the devil pieces, but she would make an exception right now. She pointed her hand out at Naruto, which glowed red, and Naruto's body gained a similar glow. Submit. Ria sparked out her order to Naruto for him to comply. His body shook and started to go down. Right when he was almost laying, the red light shattered and he grew angry. It seems like he is not the type to take orders from anyone, said Hiruzen. In our line of work that is not a good thing, said Tsunade. What? Naruto growled, and a pitch-black aura started to engulf his arms and hands. Shio's eyes widened at this unknown development, feeling a large amount danger from it. As Naruto threw a claw swipe, she shouted out, Everyone get down! WHSSH! The slice went above them and cut down numerous trees cleanly in half behind them, deforesting part of the park with one swoop. Holy, said Obito. Shit! Said Anko. Those poor trees, said a depressed Hashirama. Tobirama just face-palmed. Oh, Hashirama. Akino had a look of shock on her face just like everyone else, and directed it at Shio. What the hell is going on? I don't know anymore. Naruto roared and went on all fours as he started to charge a black ball of some unknown energy above his mouth as it picked up wind, causing Shio's instincts to make her go pale. Two horns started to grow on his head, and the large black X on his back started to crack. Oh god, this feels like the time when the Nine Tails was going shoot of another dense ball of energy, said Hiruzen. I think that's enough of that. The twins were startled by the familiar voice. The beast Naruto yelped as he was suddenly picked up by the scruff of his neck and jabbed in the side of it, making his body go lax and his body going mostly back to normal a bit, keeping the animal tail and ears and a slightly more feral appearance as he fell asleep. He was hoisted over the shoulder of the newly arrived person, who chuckled. Kukuku, well, it looks like you three certainly got into quite the mess while I was gone, huh? Bright yellow fox ears twitched in the moonlight as the amused voice spoke out. The twins knew exactly who this was. This was their one who raised them. Yasaka, their Obasan. Well, that is the end of that chapter, said Shio. So who is going to read next? Asked Miso. If you don't mind, I like to read next, said Hashirama. Go ahead, said AC. With that, the twins gave Hashirama the book. Chapter 5, Pass to equals. Cough, cough. He walked endlessly through the everlasting darkness with no sense of purpose. It felt like he had been walking for hours, but for some reason he felt the need to keep going straight. After some time he eventually came upon a giant black gate. It had a giant padlock attached to it by large chains wrapping around the bars of the gate. Naruto walked up to the cage in curiosity, looking closely at the cracks along the lock. This sound like my version of me had entered his mindscape, and the gate with chains and padlock must be some kind of seal, said Naruto. How do you know that it is? Asked Minato. I have experienced it many times already as it is, said Naruto. What is this? He saw two giant white eyes open up in the darkness that stared right at him. Next moment the cage was broken and forced open as Naruto was knocked flying away. As he was hurtling through the sky, he was suddenly grabbed by a larger hand. Gah! He coughed up a glob of blood as he felt the hand squeeze down and break something. He was then dropped and fell a short ways to the ground. Oh, said Minato. That's not good, said Jiraiya. Bring himself up to his feet, he tried to walk again but found it increasingly difficult to do so. Looking down, he saw a black sludge grabbing at him, pulling him down. He tried to push on and escape, but its hold got stronger and stronger as it climbed up his legs and latched onto his waist. He struggled to get free as it climbed higher and higher until he heard large thumps of footsteps in front of him. Kurama narrowed his eyes, feeling that this was somewhat similar to the chakra tug-of-war between him and Naruto. As it slowly came into view, he could make out its vague features. It was some kind of giant creature with a vaguely humanoid build. It was all black with pointed hands and feet. Its face consisted of a large glowing sharp smile and glowing white eyes. The sight of it got Naruto's attention, causing him to stop struggling as the sludge had completely encased him up to his chest and was still rising. It made a low hum as it brought its head down to look at him critically. It sniffed him a few times as the sludge came up around his neck and the edges of his face. The TV turns on, showing the image of the creature, causing everyone to shiver at the sight of the creature. Why? It let loose an earth-shattering roar right on Naruto before moving back. As the sludge covered him completely, the monster brought its hands in from the slide to clap in on him, with a smash. Bam! Gasp! Huh? Naruto opened his eyes and was startled by the sudden light. He felt weak and helpless as his body had taken the form of a wolf pup. He felt himself held and pressed into something soft and warm. The feeling was comforting and gave him a sense of security and peace. He nuzzled further into the warmth, enjoying the feeling. Jiraiya was giggling perversely and would have comment about it if was not Pico slammed by Tsunade. Naruto-chan, you must have had an interesting dream, didn't you? At the voice, he looked up to be greeted by the sight of an extremely beautiful red-headed woman smiling down at him as she held him in her chest. The smile was so warm it was placating. Don't worry, Naruto-chan, your Ka-chan will always be here for you, watching over you. Even in death, a mother's love still reaches out to her children, said AC. All Kushina could do was smile and cry happily. She held him in one arm and brought the other hand up to eye level as a pitch-black aura halfway covered her index and middle finger. In appearance it resembled a flame as well as a thick paint. You will no doubt have an interesting life filled with many hardships but with much joy as well. She began to move her fingers, swirling a spiral of the black aura in the air in front of him. Don't let yourself be at the mercy of others. Live your life how you wish to live it and make your future dreams come true. Don't let anyone tell you what you can and can't do. She touched Naruto's forehead, and the spiral traveled harmlessly into his skull as he slowly fell asleep. You can be whatever you want to be. Everyone had a smile on their face, even Tobirama, though it was small hearing the tender and loving moment. Of course Kushina was affected the most, if you can tell by hugging her son to death. House. Naruto woke up and put a hand to his head with a groan. Yar. I hate when my dreams and memories decide to do a mashup. Why do I feel so sore? Slowly but surely he started to remember parts of what happened the previous night. I was out roaming last night, got into a fight with a bird lady and got stabbed through the chest. I must have snapped again to still be alive. He sighed as he laid silent for a few seconds, thinking. Well, it seems Naruto here has no regards about his health, said Hashirama as sweat dropped forming on his head. Typical Naruto for ya, said AC. And I'm pretty sure I wasn't drunk. So going by how that chick looked, and what she stabbed me with, I'd say it would be pretty accurate to say she was a fallen angel. I knew I should have read up more on them. Well, once again I'm still alive, so no point in worrying about it right now. Might as well get up. He hopped out of bed and yelped when he hit the ceiling. The hell? As he fell back down, he tried to right himself back up but was stopped when he felt two things emerge from his back and hold him in the air and stab into the wall. Everyone was laughing at that point while Naruto was pouting, causing Hinata to giggle at her boyfriend. He blinked and looked behind himself to see long black wing-like appendages. Seeing them, he deadpanned for a moment, then sighed. I guess it's just one of those days. He fell face first to the ground when the wings retreated into him again. He laid there thinking for a while. Naruto thinking, has the end of the world come? Laughed Kiba. That's too much of a pain to think about, said Shikamaru. Okay, Naruto. Don't freak out. There has to be a reason for this. Something else must have happened last night. Something, right? Rias was also there at the end. And she did something? Be reborn as my servant, and as a devil of the Gremry household. Well, fuck that. Devil, eh? I feel so light. He walked towards the mirror, and his eyes widened. Whoa! The surprise was from the fact that the black spikes of hair he always had on top of his head had turned into canine-like ears, and behind him he had a long wolf-like tail waving about casually. His canines were sharper, and his whisker marks had gotten slightly darker. He looked at the rest of his body, and saw it looked mostly the same, but his muscles and body felt harder than before, and he felt stronger than ever. His hair was slightly longer and messier, but that was fine. The interesting thing was that his hair was naturally spiked in a way so that it only showed one eye without him trying. The blues of his eyes had turned white, even with his sclera, and only separated by the black outline of his irises. It was like the eyes of the moon, and with his slitted pupils gave him a very intimidating gaze. The TV turns on, showing the current look of Naruto. Some of them felt intimidated, some had blushes on their face, and Anko has gotten her panties wet again and cherry red blush on her face. Talk about a woman with no self-control, this is fucking badass. But I can't go out looking like this. Let's see if Obasan lesson were right then. If I relax and shift my energy I should be able to. His tail receded and his appearance turned back to normal. His hair also dropped to cover his eyes again. He lifted his hair up out of the way of his eyes and smirked when he saw they were blue again. Why did he change back? I like his new looks. Whined Anko. Anko sighed Kurenai. Haha, that was easier than expected. He brought his hands together and flexed, and the wolf features showed again. He released and they receded again. Flex, release, flex, release, flex, release, flex, release, flex. As long as he was consciously trying to shift, that's all he needed to do to change. He got an excited grin on his face as he shifted faster and faster, enjoying this new change to his life. He didn't notice that black paint flames started emerging from his hands the fast he shifted until it exploded on him. Whoops, said Naruto. Nice going, dumbass, said Sasuke. Fuck you, asshole, yelled Naruto. Naruto, Sasuke, both boys responded on the call but wished they didn't. When they did, they saw their mother's sweet smile on their face while their eyes are closed. You know what that means, we are the basest friends. Right, Naruto? Asked Sasuke nervously. I said Naruto nervously. I'd better continue reading before it's too late, thought Hashirama nervously, remembering the times it happened to him with his wife. Boom, he was knocked back onto the ground with a yelp as he landed on his tail. Naruto rubbed the soreness as he got up but paused as he looked at his hand. He stared at how it was consumed in blackness just like the other. He waved it back and forth in curiosity, and it started to form trails in the air. He played with it and started to draw things in the air. That piqued Naruto, Kushina, Minato and Jiraiya's curiosity. What is this? It's like flaming magic ink. He brought his other hand up and rubbed them together as it started to feel sticky. He pulled them apart, and it formed tendrils of the slime in between the hands that stretched to connect both. Getting an idea, he stopped and went to his closet, the blackness on his hands disappearing on instinct. He came back with some drumsticks in hand. He grabbed one and held it up to eye level as he coated his other hand in the black aura again. He then grabbed the drumstick with his coated hand and smiled in satisfaction when the aura formed a shell around the wooden object and shaped into a black sharp object that was twice as long. He looked it over before throwing it at his mirror. Vrum, it stabbed right into the mirror, cracking it and embedding itself into the wall. Ha 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 ha, sigh, why the hell did I just do that to my mirror? Why are you asking us? Thought everyone. Rias fidgeted in her seat as she felt animalistic eyes glaring at her. She glanced over at Miso, who had a hard scowl on her face as her. She was sitting over in an armchair as she glared at her with her slitted eyes shadowed. Shio was sitting to the side in a couch with her arms crossed and her eyes closed, thinking. The one who had gathered them there was sitting next to Shio in the couch. Yasaka took a sip of her tea and sighed. Wapita! Miso clutched the back of her head in pain as Yasaka smacked it with one of her tails. Naruto gave his sympathies to Miso, knowing about being on the receiving ends of being installed manners into him from Tsunade multiple times. That's enough with the latent aggression, Miso-chan. While admirable, you made more than made your point hours ago, and your nails are starting to dig into the chair. Miso grumbled but otherwise obeyed. Now about what you did to my nephew. I personally have no problems with your actions. Rias was surprised by how easily the kitsune said that. What? Yelled Kushina. What? Miso used your inside voice. I'm sure the two of you know what would have happened had Rias not tried to revive him. He would have bled out on the ground and died, and if anything it would have been worse if she just ignored him. Miso flinched and Shio's face twitched at the idea of what could have happened. It was their fault for not being there to protect him like they had trained to be able to do so for years. It's not your fault, you two. Things happen that are beyond our control at times. You just have to move on from there, said AC. Of course that's what you think would happen, Yasaka added offhandedly at the end, gaining everyone's eyes. Shio finally opened her eyes and looked at her. What do you mean by that? Come on girls, you should have long since noticed that there was something off about your brother. All that talent and nothing to show for it. Surely you girls have remembered the bear incident by now? It was like a shock went through their system as the girls' eyes widened. Miso shook in her seat. Why, you mean that was real? Of course it was. Even when Naruto snapped, a similar thing has happened several more times throughout the years, but I guess you don't know about the others. Anyway, it got worse each time as he got older. I thought it was abnormal, so I ran tests on his body and blood. Apparently that was like a personal failsafe of some kind. It would activate through a combination of him being in danger and his mind state. When I did some digging into his data, I found out the thing causing it wasn't of human origin at all. Wasn't of human origin? What could that mean? Asked Tobirama. You'll all will know in due time, said AC. Then what is it? That I'm not completely sure. But look on the bright side. Now that Naruto has changed, you girls don't have to hide who you are anymore. The girls looked down nervous at this missing Yasaka's smirk as Rias looked on curious. They've been pranked. Giggle Kushina. Shio and Miso were grumbling from the prank that their end pulled. Now before we continue the rest of the conversation, I think it would be wise to have Naruto with us. So let's go get the boy. He should be awake by now. She stood up and walked up the stairs towards Naruto's room. Knock knock, Naruto, are you awake yet? We wanted to talk with you. Yasaka opened the door, and she saw was a broken mirror, a messed up bed, what looked to be cracks in the ceiling, stab marks in the walls, and a bunch of cards embedded in the walls and floors. Naruto was sitting there only in his shorts with his back towards them. He tilted his head back and grinned as his eyes glowed ominously at her. That people is what will happen to a bored Uzumaki. Don't let that happen ever, said AC. Anyone who was not an Uzumaki had a shiver run down through their spine. Get dressed and come downstairs. She closed the and passed the girls in the hallway as her face twitched, which Shio noticed. What happened? Don't worry about it. It's too troublesome. Trust me, I know, said Shikamaru, back downstairs. So girls, is there anything you would like to say to your brother? Leaning against the wall with his arms crossed, Naruto rose an eyebrow at his sisters as they shuffled nervously. Shio, being the older of the two, decided to speak for them. Oniasama, we'll always be family no matter what, right? Of course we will always be family. Even if we were keeping a secret from you all this time? You know I hate secrets. It was short and quick and made them flinch. Kushina nodded that no secret should be hidden between the families. Unless said secret should hurt said family. When it can be avoided, then it can be left as a secret. But I wouldn't be much of a brother if I let that get to me, now would I? He smiled at them reassuringly, giving them courage. Shio continued her confession. Well, you see, Oniasama, by mortal standards we Miso and I aren't exactly human. What? Naruto tilted his head at this. I guess we'll just show you. At that they slowly let their fox features show. The both looked down and Shio held her arm bashfully, wondering what his reaction would be as she spoke. You see, Oniasama, we are actually Yukai. More specifically Kitsune. More specifically the War Beast branch. We were half human at birth, now not so much. The girls grew nervous at his silence and spoke out in unison. Oniasama? So all these years I protected you two and you weren't even human? They froze at the emotionless tone he spoke with. Well, this is not turning out so well, said Sakura. Were you even ever going to tell me, or are you only telling me now that I'm some demon? He pushed off the wall and walked towards them, making them stumble back. Ria, seeing this, stepped forward. Hey, hold on, Dash. She stopped when Yasaka put a hand on her shoulder and shook her head. You think you can suddenly tell me something like this because it's convenient for you to know, and think I will trust you to that easily? Now they had pressed themselves against the wall on the other side of the room and were shaking as Naruto stood intimidatingly over them. Shio's voice came out small as she spoke. Oniasama, we're sorry. We'll do whatever why you want if why you please forgive us. They shut their eyes in fear as Naruto brought his hands up, expecting the worst. They flinched when they felt his hands touch their heads and froze as they went from side to side in a slow, soft motion. They subconsciously leaned into his hands as he did so. He was petting them. The TV turns on showing the scene. Ah, it's so cute, gushed Kushina. Oh, here we again, sighed AC. He pulled both of them into a hug, surprising them. Whatever I want, eh? That sounds nice, so could I keep protecting you too if that's not too much? Oniasama? Naruto let go of them and smiled. What, did you really think I would hate you too or abandon you to over something as trivial as that? Apparently you did, for you to hide that so long. The older brother looks out for his sisters no matter what happens and no matter what they do. That's his job. The girls started to sniff, and their eyes watered as they looked up at him. Naruto sighed at this. Well, this Naruto has some of your traits as well, brat, said Tsunade. Well, that's nice of you to say, Granny, said Naruto. Unfortunately, when he finishes saying that, a Pico hammer was thrown at his head, hitting him and knocking him out. Sorry, I guess I messed with you two a little too much just then. Dash. He stopped when the twins jumped at him and wrapped their arms around him, burying their faces into his neck. He stumbled a bit but then held them there. And no, it's okay, we deserved at least that much. We are just so happy right now. Naruto smiled to himself as they cried into him. Well, I'm glad you two got that out of your system, and now I'm getting wet. After a few minutes they calmed down and let go of him. At that Yasaka clapped to get attention. Such a touching moment, said AC. Now that that's over, let's get back to our discussion, shall we? I'm sure you have something else you wanted to say, didn't you, Naruto? At this, Naruto's whole demeanor changed as he walked to sit in the armchair. He looked back at the twins and smirked evilly. Oh, and my cute little Imutos. I already knew you were Kitsune. This shocked everyone. Oh no, he did not just do that, said Ino. I think he did, said Sakura. Best prank ever, yelled Kushina and Naruto, who returned from his mini-coma. The girls stood there for a few seconds before it finally clicked what they just heard. What, you knew? Come on now, I'm far from stupid even if I act like it at times. You should have known you wouldn't have been able to hide something like that from me forever. All of the jokes and Fox-related moments. Come on, watching you girls squirm was so much fun. Naruto laughed to himself as the girls felt like they were getting a headache. He's evil, said Kiba. I think I'm in love, said Anko. Kurenai just sighed, not having the energy to bother trying. How long have you known? Yasaka spoke up while sipping tea in her seat. He's known since he was 10 years old. I've known since you were born. What? All three Kitsune shouted, not expecting that. Yasaka spoke up for them. Naruto, I first told you about the girl's nature when you were 10 because of the incident where you needed to be sealed. Why am I just now hearing about this? Well, truth is my oldest memories were of Kasan and when the twins were born. You mean? Yes, since they were born with their features I was one of the first to see them. This shocked everyone. Holy shit, said Kiba. How smart is this brat? Asked Jiraiya. Shikamaru smart? Asked Naruto. No, I think he's smarter than me. That's just too troublesome, said Shikamaru. But how is that possible? You should have not been cognitive enough at that age. And why did you never say anything? This could have changed a lot. Well, I don't know. One of the things about me is that I don't forget. That's all I can say. I have no idea why I can remember things that far back, but it would explain why learning is so easy. As for not telling anyone that I knew, well, I always assumed you all had your reasons for not telling me. I was basically human, and no doubt the weakest link. You no doubt would feel safer knowing that I was oblivious to the supernatural world rather than me knowing about it, and fear me getting involved and hurt because of it. You know, that kind of thinking will get you in more trouble than it's worth, said AC. Miso decided to speak out at this. But if we had known, if you had told us that you already knew about our Kitsune nature, we could have protected you better. We could have used our abilities to better help you without fear of you knowing about it. We could have dash. Who said I wanted to be protected? The girls flinched at the tone and kept silent. Oh, now I know where this is going, said Hashirama. I never wanted to be protected. I never wanted to have my hand held throughout life because I was the most vulnerable. I never wanted to be pitted for being weaker. I never wanted you to feel obligated to want to protect me to that extent. Doting over me just because you want to is fine, and you girls have done that. But you also doted over me because you were trying to shelter me. It is the older sibling that shelters the younger ones, not the other way around. With each one they felt like bricks were hitting their heads, like they were being scolded. Nagato could not help but flinch at that, knowing that out of three of them when they were together back then, that it was similar to how he was the older one but was the weakest back then, and they took care of him. But dash. Yeah, I could have told you all, but then my role would have been taken from me even more than it already was because of your cautiousness. So I kept silent as long as I needed to hold on to that while making myself better, stronger, and smarter whenever I could. So when Obasan gave me the opportunity to see the world and learn more, I jumped at the chance because I needed the new freedom. Sasuke could not help but sympathizes with him on wanting to do things on his own, but he did for the wrong reasons while the other Naruto did for the right reasons. Picking up what he was indirectly saying, the twins' ears fell and Shio spoke with a sad tone. So we ended up driving you off, and you left those years ago just to get away from us? Yes and no. Of course you know that it was to better protect me because I would always be on the move. What you don't know is that I wasn't doing it to be protected but to be able to protect myself. That's why I learned whatever I could and perfected what I could and trained to become as strong as I could. Because while I would be inferior to you two, I at least wanted to be someone you two could look up to or admire in some way. Everyone had smiled at that motivation, and Minato and Sasuke could not help but feel proud of Naruto. But we do look up to you, Miso shouted out, trying to assure them. Don't bullshit me. Since when does a supernatural being ever look up to a human? Aye, that's right. In terms of ability, almost never. The only thing humans have going for themselves sometimes is social status. Me being number one at school, that was my goal with that in mind. It's only thanks to all my natural talent that I was born with that I have more going for me than that, and even then it took some work. Of course there is a little more to it, but I think Obasan wanted to tell you that herself. Naruto leaned into his first as he sat in the armchair with a sigh. He really didn't like talking so hard to them, but it needed to be done. It's harsh for sure, but it needs to be known at a young age before they become too old for it to be too late," said AC. Yasaka sighed as she took another sip of her tea. "I still can't believe you kept silent all this time for the sake of your pride, but I guess I really shouldn't be surprised at this point. Girls, you might as well come sit down for this story." The twins walked over and sat down in the couch and waited. Naruto glanced under his hair to the side and saw Rias was still standing off to the side feeling unsure about what to do. "I'll say," said Tobirama. "Rias-chan, you might as well come sit down as well and hear this." She nodded, sat in the couch as well. Yasaka started speaking now that they were all sitting. "Now I'm sure you kids remember the bear incident, and don't worry about it if you don't know what it is, Gremory, as it's not as important. Well, anyway, what happened at the end happened several more times throughout the years. The most notable would be when he was 10 years old. Flashback. A younger Naruto could be seen walking home alone in the city of Kyoto. His sisters had been out sick that day for whatever reason. He had made it through the city and was already in the more suburban area. He took a shortcut through an alley but stopped when he saw a group of kids walk up in front of him. He looked behind and saw that there were kids behind him too. Most of them, from what he could tell, were around his age or in his class, though a few were a few years older. The typical type of bullying. How unoriginal," said AC. "You've been through this before?" asked Hashirama. "We all have, Hashirama. It doesn't matter when or where, it will always happen," said AC. One of the nondescript boys stepped forward with a cocky look. "Well, if it isn't Mustard Head." "And Mustard Head?" Wow, that insult wasn't half bad this time. He sighed at them, not wanting to deal with this. "What do you guys want?" "I just want to go home." "Who cares? We can't mess with your sisters because everyone likes them, but you're alone right now. You look like a punk with that yellow hair, and yet you don't ever do anything wrong like a nerd, and you're good in sports. You take too much attention from the rest of us. Jealousy, what an ugly monster it is," said AC. "I didn't know being better than you was a crime," Naruto replied, uninterested, making the boys fume. The boy threw a solid punch at Naruto's face for the smart comment. "And your crime was being alive? That's probably why your mom is dead. She couldn't take seeing your face." The punch made him fall back, but at that comment he caught himself and froze, leaning back. Naruto's pupils changed to slits for the first time, and he leaned forward and carried a heavy punch into the kid's face, making him scream in pain as he clutched his face on the ground, shocking the other kids. He was usually a passive person who would take whatever was thrown at him with a smile, but now it's like he had been triggered. "You've done and fucked up now," yelled Anko. "Leave my mother out of this. I'm so tired of this. I do nothing wrong. I go to school, do my work, follow the rules, get good grades, and for what? To still have to deal with all this crap. To be looked down on by everyone and be looked on as a pest by others. Well, I'm tired of this crap. You want to fight? Come at me." At this, one of the kids regained his nerves and shouted, "Get him!" Yasaka could be seen lounging on a couch, flipping through the channels, wondering what was on TV. "Where is Naruto-chan? He sure is taking a while to come home." She sat up all of a sudden, a strange look on her face as she turned into a fox and left the house. "Something's not right. Now you notice?" said Tobirama sarcastically. "Brother, please," pleaded Hashirama. Naruto was on the ground, beaten, bruised, and bloody as a group of kids kicked him on the ground. He put up a much better fight than could be expected. He beat down several of the kids out of the 20 that were there and landed blows on many of them. He could take a hit better than any boy his age, and he was agile, which helped. What messed him up was that a few of them had poles and bats, and one scored a good hit on his head, making him stumble enough to be brought down by the rest of the boys. There was no point getting up at this time, since struggling would just make them go long, as blood dripped on his hair and head. One of the kids holding a bat who was kicking him laughed. He had a bloody nose from when Naruto had scored a good knee strike at his face. Too many were against him. His chances were slim to begin with, said Mikoto. "Ha ha, where is that spark now, Mustard Kid? All that talk and you're down already. You must not have cared much about your mom. Maybe we should go after your sisters next." His eyes shot open from his place on the ground. It was like something snapped inside of him as the words echoed in his head over and over. "Big mistake," said AC.